So after a more civilized age, I should have kept it running because Matthew told the most hilarious story, and I think I can tell it, even though he really should be the one telling it, but I thought it was so funny. After we left, Ryan was tired. He had to go. We talked for a little bit, and then I can't remember how the conversation went up, but Matthew talked about him having a pet Yorkie and leaving it outside to play for a little bit. I think what happened is he turned around to get something inside, walked back out, and the Yorkie had disappeared. Like it was literally like 10 seconds, 2 seconds, or what, 10 maybe 15 seconds, I think. And, but yeah, a Hulk got it. It's not funny. What it is. I could not stop laughing. He had me laughing seriously for like 10 minutes straight. My sides were hurting. I was laughing, and I felt bad because that's not something. The hawk, the hawk flew off with the dog. It's terrible. I still think it's funny. It happened before he had kids, though, so his kids were there to see it. But that's funny. Oh yeah, all right. I got a question already. Um, I think I do a King of the Sea board game. You know what, Johnny? I don't think. Hold on. Let's look it up. I don't think I've heard of that one. Yeah, obviously I'm not. Wait, hold on. King of the Sea. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I was talking to Bernardo, I think, about this game. Yeah, it looks interesting. This is the one where you shoot the cannonballs, right? At each other. Yeah. No, that looks interesting. That looks interesting. Yeah, there's not that many vintage games I'm trying to find. That one's hard to get. All right, that makes sense. It looks interesting. I remember talking to Bernardo about that. Top Dog from Mattel. It's so funny. It was so funny. I laughed so hard at that story. It was great to have Matthew on again. It's great to have him on. That's one I've never seen before. I know nothing about that. Interesting. Dog fighting action game. Huh. You know what? I saw that one, Jamie, and it interested me. But you know, the one at Target that interests me the most, oddly, is Rain, the last battle royale. It has like 60 miniatures in it, and it's like $24. And it's supposed to be Fortnite the game, right? Because you're trying to move to the center as pieces of the land are randomly disappearing, and then you just battle it out. The whole time you can fight people on your way to the center of the board because the center of the board's not going to disappear. But you're definitely trying to get gems that help you roll extra die. I'm told it's very simple, straightforward, lots of action figures and stuff, or minis, and it's only $24. I mean, the minis alone, right, would be good. So I don't know if I had a Target gift card. If I had a Target gift card, well, hey, Steve, I was there for open airlock policy for just a second. I was in and out trying to get stuff done, but I heard most of it. I was there. Um, Yes, I did see it. Confusing, right? What's he doing back in the Matrix? Isn't everything supposed to have changed? Obviously, something happened. I'm sure they're going to explain it. Is this another trilogy? you know, I mean, you got to hit that reset button, right? But it's funny that Keanu Reeves does not do. He doesn't do movies now without his beard, unless no, I don't think he had his beard in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, did he? I don't think he did, but I can't remember. But yeah, he's always got to have a beard now. I don't know why. Neo didn't have a beard, but now he's got to have a beard because he's John Wick. But I think maybe he's filming John Wick. Maybe that's what it was. He was doing both and he couldn't shave his beard. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, okay, right on. Well, tell me how that. Thanks. Yeah, tell me how the Battle of the Seas is. Yes, I was there. You were there too. We crossed words. Um, yeah, Steve. The video. Steve has the um, talent of finding these commercials that are hilarious. And the one that got me laughing was the guy who's answering the phone in the men's locker room, and his wife's asking for like everything, like jewelry, clothes, then a car, then a house. He's like, sure, dear, whatever you want, dear, whatever you want. And he picks up the phone and goes, whose phone is this? After she hangs up. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Well, I saw someone else say, oh, the Wheel of Time trailer. I'm holding until I watch it. It did not look good, but I'm still gonna try it out. Okay, maybe that's why he had to keep his beard going because he was gonna jump from there to John Wick. I don't know. If I was an actor though, I'd want to look different. I don't want to look like John Wick for every movie, and the beard is John Wick. To me, it is, and I love the John Wick movies. I just watched them over the summer, and they're some of my favorite movies now. I can't wait for John Wick 4. I think John Wick 4 is supposed to come out this year too, isn't it? What did you want to ask Chris about lightsabers? He's indeed a hard man to get on. Did you ever get into the stunt FX sabers or the choreographed nerdy fights? I actually had just the Hasbro toy sabers, and if you were to come over at my house back in the day, my apartment back in the day, if it was a Star Wars movie night or something, or sometimes I just had fun with it. I said, hey, because I always had people over I mean, every night. I had as many people over as I could. And then sometimes we'd be like, hey, something random. I was like, hey, let's break out these lightsabers. So I gave everyone, I had tons of the Hasbro lightsabers. I used to collect them all. And I turn off the lights, we'd all ignite them and then do like these little battles around the apartment and stuff, just for fun, just for fun. It was just crazy stuff. Like we'd go out and we'd film us doing or other people doing stupid stuff, and just the most random stuff that we would do. It was kind of fun, but it was like every night I'd have someone over. And then I remember when I was trying to. This is back in in my 20s, all through my 20s, and I was like, I need to better discipline myself because I was going to bed at 2 a.m. I said, I'm gonna go to bed at midnight now. At midnight, I'm forcing myself to go to bed. So I'd go to bed at midnight. That was me trying to, trying to discipline myself. I was staying up every night super late and getting up early. My roommates they tell stories about me that I think are exaggerated. Some aren't, but some are. Like one roommate, he just tells me all these stories like that never happened. That never happened. Get out of here. But I did have I just had a lot of friends and they were always invited over and we do whatever. Even though I was working Monday through Friday, each night, we could do something. We'd find something to do, right? I didn't watch The Witcher. You ever went crazy over the first season, then they stopped talking about it. It's like what was that other one that came out? The Western sci-fi. I can't. Westworld. Everyone was screaming I had to watch the series. Then it went dead. No one told me I had to watch the series. See, I don't like when they change, and I hate this, Steve, because I hated when they changed Lord of the Rings in theaters. I despise those Peter Jackson movies. I think they're just the most insulting thing that has ever been done to Tolkien. Honestly, the cartoons are better. But it's just so insulting how he thought he could do better than the book. Just write the book, man. I want to see the book on the movie screen. Oh, but you already know the ending. So what? I want to see the story unfold visually. Visually, tell it visually. But when you start changing, and it was the stupidest things he was changing to. I mean, to the little details, to the I don't know. It was just I don't know. Everything about those movies were just so sad. I'd heard about that, and I hate it because I think he's everyone's favorite. I mean, not to be. I mean, I like Matt too. He's a screw up, you know. But everyone loves Perrin, and why would you change his storyline? I know what they're going to change, though. He's not going to get married young. What is MGTOW? Man gaming to owls whistling. I think they're an honorable movement. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Go Mets. Go Mets all the way to the bottom of the East, NL East. Hey, Sam, how's it going? Oh, hey, Big Al. Yeah, I used to, I made a lightsaber. I had the old Return of the Jedi lightsaber, the plastic one, if you remember. And the you'd bang those little plastic swords. This is back in the 80s. You bang those plastic swords. If you swung it, it made a noise. It was kind of hollow at the front, but it'd make it like a little woo, woo, woo when you move it. But you were kids, you'd bang each other's lightsabers. You bang on the side of the house or whatever, and it was just bent up and just torn up. And somehow it survived the move. It moved with me, and I don't know what, but I found it was all crinkled and beat up. And so I just tore it out, and I wasn't thinking, but I put a broom handle because a broom handle fit, and I drilled a screw into it. Well, the bottom is still that cheap 80s plastic. So you can't hit it against anything, it'll snap right off. And I figured that out very quick. I was like, oh, this thing is brittle. And so I carried that thing around, and I dressed up Luke Skywalker with it, but it was super heavy. And I said, don't hit too hard, because I kind of hold the broom handle too, because I didn't want to break that brittle little. It's the original Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker from Kenner Toys, and I still have it. It's in my garage closet. It's in my garage closet right now. I still have it. I have that one, and then I have a better one. I stuck. Don't ask how I did this. I don't even remember. I took out the lens of a flashlight that was a thin flashlight that was just the right size for a broom handle. Just wedged it in there. I don't even know what I broke or how I even got it fit in there. Maybe I super glued or something. It will not come out. But the light had a weird hilt. It looked like a hilt to it. It was a weird flashlight, and I was like, oh, and it was black too, so it looked like a real lightsaber, and it was really sturdy. I mean, the handle was really heavy, and then the lightsaber was really heavy, and I swung that everywhere. That was a yellow one. I remember I made a yellow one because if you remember, they made a yellow one for Kenner Toys, and I made a yellow one and swung it around, and that was a really good one. I don't know if I still have that one. I think someone took it. I remember taking a picture with someone. I gave it to him just to kind of, because he wanted to be a Jedi too, so I gave him that one. I had it in my car, and I don't think I ever got it back from him. But I know my green one's in there. I've seen it before. Hello, Tyler. How are you? It's just 30 minutes of me crying about the Mets. Yeah, no, Shadowhunter was good, and the ending's really good too. Really enjoyed that. Favorite non-Star Wars Zahn book? I don't read Zahn outside of Star Wars. Never did. Oh, awesome! You're gonna enjoy it. Oh, hey Steve, how's it going? How are things in Australia? Shut up. See? See? It's a good guy right there. Good guy. Those are actually mourning uniforms. They're in mourning because their team is dead. Our chances are dead. Not much. In fact, I don't think anything is said about it. It's just Dash Rendar in it. Wait, is that no Shadow Games? Yeah, not Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter's Darth Maul. Shadow Games, the one you're talking about, is Dash Rendar. Bit overrated. Yeah, I made a video a long time ago, and it was one of the first videos I made because everyone was talking about how great the Thrawn trilogy was. And I was like, well, I enjoyed it, but I was like, good, look, guys, the things you hate about the EU are in the are in that Thrawn trilogy. They hated the Vaughn didn't have the Force. Well, so did the Yal Salamari. They had a Force bubble around them. The Force didn't exist around them, and we were okay with that. They hated that there was aliens from another galaxy. Really, because Thrawn is trying to run the Empire to take on a threat outside of their galaxy, an alien threat. Now, Zahn said it wasn't he didn't have the Vong in mind, but that was the whole purpose for Thrawn. So all these things that people hate were actually brought up in the Thrawn, and that was what I was trying to show them. And and they said, "Oh, stupid! There's some silly stuff here." And I said, "Well, Luke with two U's. I mean, yeah, he was trying to tell the difference between that and the clone Luke, but he could have just said clone Luke or the clone, you know, where he went Luke." Okay, so there's silly stuff in there too, but they forgive that because that was the only book or the first books they read, and then they want to hate on the rest. And so my point was like, look, guys, a lot of things that you hate was in that Thrawn trilogy, and it doesn't make sense. I won an argument one time with a good friend of mine about that. Oh gosh, when did I fall behind in the comments? Goodness gracious, so sorry. I didn't know if people were commenting. Okay, why do you think Disney didn't sell their movie trilogy a few? Because, Steve, it would have made sense. That's why. Whoa, from India. Well, good morning. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are well in India. I mean, yeah, the Cubs, the curse, and everything, but that whole series was really good. If it was back and forth, in fact, I'll be honest, I started cheering for the Indians at the end of Game 7 when they came back with that home run to make it 7-6. Everyone, we had tons of people over here, and everyone was like, "No," because everyone's cheering for the Cubs. I went, you know what? I'm cheering for the Indians now. I just because remember, now the Indians are the team who's gone the longest without a World Series win. Now the Indians, without winning a World Series, I mean. That's true. Hey, check out A More Civilized Age. We talked about that. Master of Positive Fandom. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's all fun. I mean, I don't mind if people enjoy the new stuff. I agree with people who say there's stuff wrong with it, but my hat's off to anyone who gives it a try. because you at least try. I mean, if you went in there and you truly, I've talked to people who truly went into it thinking this will be good. I'm gonna give it a try. And my buddy Bruce from Prince of the Universe podcast, he decided he was going to do that. Now he's been my best friend for years, and I decided I wasn't. Now we just he went, oh, you're not. You're just gonna cut out Star Wars completely. I said, well, yeah, not because not because I mean I am disappointed that there's no EU. I said, but I think just because I'm not interested in resetting the story and starting all over again. I'm just not. And this is back before we knew what was going to be. But I said, yeah, I think I'm going to stop. Huh? Yeah, I'm going to give it a try. I said, oh, okay, well, let me know how it is. And we didn't. There was nothing. This is back before the internet, or we were going on the internet and listening. Because I was shocked when people were like, "You're not. If you don't give the new Star Wars a chance, you're not a fan." I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait. How can you be this irrational? Oh, wait, you're on the internet. I forgot. Yes, and I want to say this, that folks, you need to check out Professor Geek and Big Al. They are not just doing a book review. When he says book study, Big Al, I need to have you on sometime too. I need to have you on sometime because I've liked y'all. Every time y'all do this, I'm like babysitting the kids or doing something. But I catch them up afterwards. They're going chapter by chapter. I mean, and not in one video either. They're taking a few chapters here, analyzing them, what they like, dissecting it. It's really good. It's really good stuff. I mean, it is a hard, when he says book study, it is an examination of the book with critiques. So kudos to you, Big Al. Seriously, I need to have you. And I tried to get Professor on for a more civilized age. I don't know what happened to him. I was texting him, and Michael said he had to put his kids down. They were giving him problems, and I know how that is. But then I never heard back, but I never text back either. So I'm not the one to say, he never calls me back. I never text back either. So I'll have to reach back out to him. I'd love to have both of you on. Yeah, but definitely check out Professor Geek. He's been doing, and he does a lot of other stuff too, which is really good. He's got some good, makes some really good points about the direction of superhero films and where they're going. So this time in 3D is awesome. Oh, good. You like Shang-Chi? I won't see it till it comes out on rental or whatever, But good. Glad you enjoyed it. I am. Coach, your thoughts again? That was on a more civilized age. I just don't feel like rehashing it right now, but y'all can check that out. That's what I mean. Fast forward 12, 15 minutes because we talk about first. We talk about Ryan and we talk about Matthew because it's the first time they've been back in over a year. And over 2 years, maybe, is the first time I ever had them back together. And then we talk about L. Neil Smith, and I think it's like 12, 15 minutes. I should timestamp those things. So sorry. But we switched the conversation to KOTOR, which is what takes over for the next half hour. Yeah. Another one about that. Bane Trilogy is good. I need to catch up with these comments, folks. I'm so sorry. I didn't know everyone would be up. Is there at least one thing you think looks good from Disney Star Wars? I don't know it well enough to say if there's anything good from it. So I don't know. I don't know outside of what my buddy tells me, and he doesn't tell me much. Darth Vader. Yeah, it's great. Luke. Yeah, Luke Skywalker. Oh yeah, this is nice. Steve, good question. I liked the longer, big. I think New Jedi Order is perfect. I know they said it was supposed to go like 20 something books or whatever, and I wish it would have. I really thought, because there's so much story to tell within that war, within that battle, that to me would have been intriguing. Now, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people are like, no, 9 books and that's it. Please don't give me anything more than that. It's too much to read. But to me, when Ninja Order's just chucking out books every year, I mean, every couple months, I was devouring it. And I really enjoy Ninja Order. So for me, and this is unpopular opinion, I could have gotten double the amount of books of Ninja Order and still been happy, to be honest. Oh, is that their name now? Boo. If I was a Cleveland fan, I'd just disown the team. I would, because if the Mets, for whatever reason, changed their name, but were the same team, I would not be a fan of that new team. I would not. Seriously, I would be a free agent, and I'd probably cheer for the Rangers because they're my home team. They're the team closest to me. Um, or if they moved, let's say they moved to Oklahoma, they're the Oklahoma Mets. I'd still cheer for them because they have the Mets name in them. Yeah, that's kind of weird, maybe, but that's how I feel. It's on YouTube. Yeah, posted. I put it public today. You can just check my past videos. It's up there. We recorded it after my Q&A. No, when did we record it? We recorded it last night. I'm not thinking here. And then I forgot to put it up that night. I just went to bed after Matthew's Hawk story just kind of threw me for a loop. I could not stop laughing at that. I still think it's funny. Yeah, More Civilized Age is a ton of fun. I love doing it. Love doing Prince of the Universe too. Bruce has been working like 60 some hours a week. It's been insane for him. So he can't really make it. And so Wes has decided to kind of tag team in for him while he's out. And I think Wes is coming over tomorrow because he'll be gone for a while too. And he said, hey, let's get a few in the bag. I was like, man, I like that go-getting attitude. I'm supposed to text him tonight too. I'll text him tomorrow. Doggone it. I can't. Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting to. I brought my little writing scratch pad. I always keep it with me to write things down to remind myself, and it's in the living room. I forgot. I left it there last night too. Uh, um, get a gun. uh, oh, 2 Aussies. Well, I don't know if y'all see the full Aussie, but I always told Raging Rhino I'd like to have him on. I try to keep getting Lethal on, but he never checks his stupid email, and I don't have stupid Twitter. um, why do you think so many EU book series have inconsistent spine art on the logos over the years? You know what? Yeah, and it's always that's interesting. You would say that, Steve. If it's always bothered me. What he's talking about, folks, is the logo's different. And even though the book sizes are the same, the logo shifts. And you think they'd have some uniformity in there. That's a good point. I don't know. But that is a very good point. Oh, well, I'm part of the working world. I'm part of the corporate world, and I had it for a little while. It was a joke. I said I wouldn't cut my hair until they brought me back to work. They brought me back to work, and then everyone wanted to see it, and so I let everyone see it, tease me over it. A few people didn't like that I cut it either, but I was not a fan of it. I was not. It kept blowing in my hair and everything, and it aggravated me more than anything. And in the middle of the night, if I turn it, flop over my head, you know, and I just didn't, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. But I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but I don't think I'll ever get my hair that long again. Yeah, like I said in that stream we did, I don't know. It looks like they're going to be poking a bear because video gamers are going to be really mad if they change that story, which they will. Most positive. I'm sorry, I'm so far behind. Their version will be canon. Yeah, of course, man. Of course. That's how far I'm behind. Thoughts on Lobaka? He's he's a good character. I mean, I enjoyed him. Yeah. I mean, I thought the translator droid MTV was kind of a cheap way to get him to do dialogue, but I didn't mind him as a character. I think they're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I know they're gonna screw it up for the fans. And here's a sad thing: I don't. I never played it, or I played it very little, so I don't have that much invested interest. But a lot of people do, and if you change anything about the character, people are gonna get very upset. Comic book fans have a right to be upset about Taskmaster. Comic book fans do. Regular fans who didn't even know who he was, they shouldn't even complain because they didn't know in the beginning. They say, "Oh wait, he used to be a man." So what do you matter? You just wanted to watch the movie, enjoy. You don't know the comic books. I understand why comic book, hardcore comic book fans who know who that is. I knew who that was in the comic books. They have a right to be upset if your favorite character changes, but not the average fan who just watched it and thought it was dumb. Boy, that is a good question, Steve. You're just knocking them out of the park with these good questions. Um, I don't know. I don't know. The prequels gave us a lot of good things. We did get a lot of EU stories out of them. Darth Plagueis for one, uh, Kenobi for another. I don't know. That's a good question. Let's see. Go for it. Go for it. Welcome, Nerd House. Wow, I'm so far behind. That was hey, you could make the argument because that was way before Disney bought out the company, way before it. That's pretty funny to think about, Steve. Boy, I'm so far behind the comments. It would probably be post Jedi era, Steve. I really liked when the focus was on the big three, Luke, Han, and Leia. For me, that's right. I'm not saying that there was bad stuff. Everything else sucked. No, I liked a lot of errors, but my favorite one was always the post Jedi era. That's how far behind I am. I'm so sorry. Me get in touch with Todd. You get in touch with Todd. Set it up there. Boy, I'm so far behind. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Just trying to read all the comments here. Well, remember, I talked about the illustrated universe here and there. That is, those are story-wise stories, and I will eventually reread everything. There's no point. I mean, I thought about doing a series called Reread, like every couple of weeks. I would bring up, or maybe every week. Who knows? I can read books pretty fast, and just kind of give you my second thoughts if my thoughts have changed on a story or whatever. There's just a bunch of other things I'm reading. Someone mentioned Jules Verne. I didn't know who that was. I didn't know who he was. And I read Around the World in 80 Days earlier this week. It took me a day and a half or something. And it was really good. It was fun. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Don't do one on this thing. Oh, awesome. There you go. Yeah, my girls are going to love that, especially when you see the necklace that's ingredient with it. Hey, hey. Hello, Jay. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, no. Oh, no. Come on. What are you doing? Quit it. No, not to my knowledge. Only in that preface or prelogue from A New Hope. And that's what kind of bothered me, because when George Lucas did the prequels, that came from, according to Alan Dean Foster, that came from George Lucas. But he changed his mind later on. Of course, he called him President Palpatine too, and the Clone Wars were only 10 years before A New Hope, originally in George's mind, which is why it's off why the timeline is off in the Bantam era. And then when the prequels come out and George changed the dates, they had to give a reasonable. The retcon was kind of smart, but it loosely fits on it all. But it was smarter than what I would have thought about. Oh, okay. Some people were saying it was in a certain point of view, A New Hope book. Okay. What the only lightsaber studio? I mean, they're not going to do it because they're not giving out the rights for Legends. So, but anything would be nice. I don't know. You know what? I thought we'd never see anything about that, but then we saw that test footage, and you're like, oh, well, that's interesting. And then I thought eventually, I actually, Steve, right after that, I thought we would see the scripts come out, but we did not. There's a lot of things that guy got wrong. He used to pretend to fans that he was a big fan like them, and he got called out, and that video is not around anymore, and I didn't flag it. Well, I maybe did, because I have some deleted. It says this video has been deleted or whatnot, and it was probably one of those. But Dylan pointed out, he said, hey, because there was a video of Filoni was bragging that this and this and this, and so he took this character from the EU and put him in here. He said, that's not the right character. You messed up. It's not so and so. He didn't do that. He was never there. You just made up a new character and you thought that was the same one, but it's not. And everyone was like, ooh, he just kind of was like, meh, whatever, like, whatever, nerd. But he got busted for pretending he knew a lot, and that whoever was behind the mic just called him out on it. It was a great clip, but now it's gone. It's gone. I used to talk about it all the time years ago on my channel. That was back when he was doing Clone Wars. The first year had come out, or first 1 or 2 seasons, he was pretending to be this big EU fan. He wasn't. And then after that, he had a bad attitude toward EU fans ever since, getting called out on this stuff. You know what? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. I mean, Dennis Leary's old stuff is funny. I can't think. I'm sure there's. I mean, we watch Jeff Dunham. My wife likes Jeff Dunham. He's fine too. My wife would be the same way, Jamie. Oh, look, Brian is here. Hello, Brian. I'm trying to catch it with the. Yeah. That's on the DVD. That's on the DVD. He was trying to take credit, but then he said, "Well, I don't know where we got that." And Katie goes, "Yeah, I mean, she knew. She's like, yeah, you remember where he got it? We got it from the comic books, from the comic books from Dark." He's like, She knew he knew, but he didn't want to say. He didn't want to say that that's where he got the idea from, was from the EU. But Katie just was like, "Yes, we did. We got it from the comic books. Remember? We saw the comic book." He's like, "Don't say that. Don't say that. I want to take claim for it." Yeah, that is on the DVD. I watched that. That's hard. Walter's leading right now. I mean, Ahmed is the best, right? But Walter is probably leading for me. My wife really loves Peanut. She loves Peanut. She thinks Peanut is the best. And her cousin loves Bubba J. So, and everyone loves Ahmed. But I love Ahmed too. But Walter just gets funnier and funnier to me. I always thought he looked like Wedge. Is that true? Yeah, from the what is it? Force and Destiny. Yeah, I think it does. But supposedly, who was on here? Who said it wasn't? Did Chris say that wasn't really what they intended it to, or something? Didn't Chris tell me that? That wasn't their intention. They were just writing this in for that. But it could lead to that. Like I said, when I talked to Fantasy, someone knew who wrote it too. Like had talked to Fantasy Flight. I can't remember who it was, but I believe him. And but he said that was not their intention to do that. But like I said, Jimmy from Stupid Chainsaw Productions was with me. I think Dylan was too. I don't recall. Someone was with me. I had a witness. I said, "Well, I'm going to go ask Fancy Flight," and they were both with me at the time, but only one of them came with me. And I asked them, and they went, "Well, that's a good interpretation." I went, "Who wrote it?" He was, well, a bunch of people." I said, "Yeah, but is this what it means? Because that's what it seems to mean. I mean, did y'all just retcon something for EU fans?" He went, "That's a good interpretation." He could neither confirm nor deny. And it kind of drove me nuts, but maybe he's just having fun with me. I don't know. But so I turned to Jimmy and said, "Do you think that's a committed?" I mean, he was being nice and he wasn't being annoying or dismissive. And I was like, "Well, I mean, that's how I'm taking it." He went, "Okay." And I went, okay. So you did retcon and put in, I said, you did retcon to make everything match up. You guys did what Lucasfilm couldn't do. He went, "Hey," he said, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's up to your interpretation. If that's what you interpret, that sounds good. Sounds good to you. Sounds good to me. I was like, okay, so it is. And I was like trying to get him to say something, but he wouldn't say anything. Son of Luke doesn't have a bigger following because he doesn't want to come on my channel. I'm kidding. I tried to get him to the last more civilized age. Oh, for my next topic, I have a great idea of who I'm going to bring in. But let me see if the one and only Brian, if you're still here, I sent you an invitation. What was it I was talking about? I can't remember. Let's see. Sure, no problem. Quick break. What are you working still? Jeez, dude, it's Friday night. I was talking to Brian earlier on text messaging. And I was watching some stuff. Oh, what was I saying? I was on. My question was, and no one can answer this because no one knows. Remember, the old Republic happened over 10,000 years ago. Well, now the old Republic canonically is 1,000 years old. Remember, that's what they stated. Now, I also said this on the stream that Matt and Martin said continuity doesn't matter anymore. They just make up stories. If they fit, good. If they don't, who cares? You shouldn't care is what they basically said. And when Matt Martin says, well, anything is canon. Anything is canon. Excuses. I'm kidding. You're exactly right. It was so last minute. That's on me. That's on me. So last minute. If I would have prepared better, you're exactly right on that. Oh. Hello there.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Oh, likewise. Likewise.
No, I was saying, since Matt Martin basically said that anything's canon, whatever you like, okay, for me, it has always been what Lucasfilm has said. To fans who hate the EU, they make it's, they don't have standards, because when George Lucas owned it, it was whatever George Lucas considered canon. And now that George Lucas says, well, those news stories aren't my story, they say it doesn't matter what George Lucas thinks. It's only what Lucasfilm thinks. No, it's always been what Lucasfilm thinks for me. That's why the moment the expanded universe was called Legends, I was like, okay. So I changed my topic. Instead of saying, nope, you need to continue expand universe, keep it going, I said, okay, we'll continue it as a non-canon storyline. Just do it that way then. Because I'm for what, if Lucasfilm says that, then I'm for that. And that's where Joe Bongiorno and I have talked about this several times, and that's where our decision is. Joe likes to kind of twist things and fit things. Like, he can pull pieces of Tarkin, he can pull pieces of some Rebels episodes and say, hey, this can fit. This Rebels episode can't unless we skip this scene. Then it can fit here. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to combine canon. It's two different canons. I go by what Lucasfilm says. Well, with Matt Martin, basically, and yeah, that's a good point. But with Matt Martin, basically stating that canon is whatever you want it to be. I mean, yeah, he's opening up to head canon, which I do not approve of.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing, because the Disney canon, which was supposed to be everything story based, was supposed to be canon on the same tier, which is fine. But then
we were promised the world. Promised, hey, this whole EU hodgepodge, it's gone. From now on, everything is on equal level. You fans are going to love the continuity. They preached solid, linear continuity to us.
Yeah, they said there would be comics, video games, movies, TV shows, all of it would be canon, and the story group would make sure that there was perfect synergy between all of them. That's what they said.
Yeah.
And then
it couldn't work. First off, it was tiptoeing on eggshells is all we got. Small little individual stories that stayed in their tiny sandbox, like wouldn't even make a ripple in the galaxy. So that's all they could do, because they were afraid to step on the movie. Then the movie came out, then they started going off, but then immediately, who was it? Nathan P. Butler from Star Wars Timeline Gold started noticing vast differences in the timeline. And that's what, he's a timeline guy. He's like, hey, where does this happen? Because he mentions this, but he wouldn't have been here and he wouldn't have had this before this. So, and he was just trying to get, he's trying to fit things in the timeline like he always does. And Lucas was like, well, put it whatever. It doesn't really matter where it goes. He's like, yes, it does. Because he believed the lie that they said it was all going to fit.
Yeah.
He was excited for that.
Around the same time when they announced the Disney trilogy, the movies, Disney were publicly saying that fans would finally get to see the old trilogy heroes again together on the Falcon for the first time in 30 years. I think it was back then, or something. And well, that didn't happen, did it?
No, no, none of it happened. And then after promising fans this linear, storyline from here on out, everything's gonna be on the same level, Matt Martin goes and accuses the fans of being OCD on a timeline and a story. It's like that, but that's
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's what you told us it was going to be. And then you turn around and say, I don't see why it's so important, guys. Just enjoy it, blah, blah. Doesn't matter what's canon. Okay, fine. Then, in my opinion, because remember, he speaks for Lucasfilm. He speaks on Lucasfilm's story group board because no one else talks to fans. Okay? So, at that moment, I said, okay, so anyone who says, well, the Legends is my canon. Well, according to Matt Martin, that is true. According to Matt Martin, the only official word that we've heard from Lucasfilm is that's true. I do know for a hard, fast fact that for some unknown reason, Lucasfilm is jealous of the love and dedication that Legends fans have for that storyline, and that they don't get that love and support for their storyline. I know that for a fact.
Well, that's because the Legends writers back in the day, they were always friendly to the fans, right? They were communicating with the fans, and they took, well, as far as I know.
Well, no, you're right.
I think you're right for the most part. I think Matt's had an experience with one. By the way, hello, everyone.
But that's because it's Matt. Everyone talks to him like that.
That's a fair point, Steve. Very, very fair point.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Heck, if I don't know which one you're talking about, but Chuck or James S.A. Corey, I talk to those guys.
Well, Chuck Wendig wrote the first novel, didn't he, for the new canon?
No, John Jackson Miller did. It was New Dawn.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But
for the Rebels TV show.
Chuck Wendig, as soon as he got criticism, he started attacking fans left and right. And that, if that happens early on, you're not getting any goodwill.
And I'll tell you this, right before that came out, before he even acted like that, before he even knew what he was like, an author, an Bantam Star Wars author, had warned me that some of the new generation, the younger authors coming up, they are easy to take offense, he said, and they will he said they get ugly online at people who didn't like their book. He said, and to be honest, that's a waste of time. And I agreed with that. Why was Chuck Wendig, it was a New York Times best-selling author when it came out, because anything Star Wars is hot, and yet he makes the time to go out of his way to hunt down, insult, curse out, whatever, call names to anyone who doesn't like his book. You shouldn't care. Not everyone's going to love you. Shoot. My dad said, if everyone in the world loves you, you're doing something wrong.
And if you're writing a fiction story and selling it, you need to be open to the fact that someone might not like it.
That was the first lesson we were taught in creative writing course when I was in college. You're never going to please everybody. It's just not possible. You have to accept that criticism and know that no matter what you do, somebody's not going to like what you're doing. And that's just something you have to accept if you're going to be out there in the creative, atmosphere.
Yeah, and if you're getting criticism, that's better than blind praise.
Very true.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't get better from just praise.
But the thing is, he's right. See, there's people who haven't liked me in the past, probably don't like me now. Okay. I'm not going to sit there and argue with you. I'm not. Because when it comes to this, if it's something about preferences, Matt, you're wrong about the new canon. I love the new canon. Okay, guess what? I believe you. I believe that you truly love it. Yes, but no one can believe me when I say I'm not going to watch them. How many people in those comments back in the day were like, "You're going to watch the movies. You know you're going to watch them. I don't know why you're talking about it. You know you're going to watch it." And then I didn't watch it. Now they got mad. Now I'm not a true Star Wars fan. If I don't, but if you want to watch it, I have no problem. I'm not dogging you about it. I just don't understand it. But again, it's that, keyboard warrior crap. There's something that they would never say in public. They'd never talk like that to anyone in public. They're braver over the internet because they're anonymous. They have a cool little name or something, and they think they can just say and get away with whatever. And and like I said, I'm done arguing with idiots who don't think that George Lucas didn't care about the EU.
You should have seen a couple of years ago. I was watching, that new season of the Clone Wars. The new stuff they were, and I was watching that episode where Ahsoka beats Darth Maul, and I was just watching it, and I noticed, when they're fighting, she's unarmed, and she's standing on a half severed, metal beam, and Maul is on the attached end of it, and I'm like, why doesn't he just cut the beam in front of him, and she's going to fall to her death? That's all he had to do. And I said, this is a bit Mary Sue-ish. I mean, she's a teenager, unarmed, and she's beating Maul, and holy crap. I hadn't tagged anyone. I hadn't hashtagged it. It was just like a, afterthought while I was watching it. 20,000 people got pissed. It got retweeted. It got put in blogs. People went nuts. I had one guy, I had to turn off the DMs, was getting stuff in there. One guy wanted to show up and shoot me in the kneecaps. And death threats, all kinds of Filoni fanboys are nuts. It wasn't the Raylos or the Disney fans either. It was the Filoni fans.
Can you say Red 5 standing by, Brian?
Red 5 standing by.
There you go.
That sounded good, though. It wasn't that far off.
I'm telling you. I know. He did sound good. He's about to suit up here. I don't know why I have 25 people past midnight. But I guess we got people from all around the world now. So
well, maybe they're all looking for Dylan's couch. It isn't quite midnight here on the east or on the west coast.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You won't catch Ryan late at night anymore.
No, other side of the country.
He's on Eastern Standard Time too. He was tired after that.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
I actually haven't had a chance to watch the More Civilized Age.
We didn't get to the topic because Dylan, being Dylan, reminded me we should talk about KOTOR, and then everyone was asking me about it. So I said, "Yeah, we'll talk about KOTOR." And I knew we weren't going to get around to that topic then because KOTOR was going to eat everything up. Plus, we had the Geeks Addict back for the first time in well over a year, so we had to do something about. We had to play up that between him and Ryan because we've been doing that, and then we talked about Ellen Neal Smith. So it was a great discussion, and I actually, Brian, think that Meg reviews would benefit well from that topic I told you about. So I'm thinking about asking if she'd like to come on.
Okay, no, that sounds good.
Someone's asking.
Caught me while I was writing those articles that you had asked me to write earlier this week. So my writer's spirit was apparently on today, and I kept writing, and sooner or later I realized I was on page 7 for one of these articles. I'm like, whoops.
Oh, I'm excited. Brian's going to be writing some articles, wrapping up our October list there, and I'm already getting submissions for 2. And I want to say Spencer owes me one more. I don't want to keep bothering him about it, but I think he owes me one more article. But he's doing his own thing. Plus, he's got a newborn and everything, so his life's kind of been busy.
That's tough. You know nothing about that, though.
Yeah. But someone asked if there it is. Am I ever going to play? I did for a short time, and I say this I think I said this in the discussion last night, that for me, the graphics were just dated and I just wasn't enjoying it. And I'll be honest though, folks, I've gotten out of video games more so than when I was playing KOTOR. When I got to play KOTOR, it was 10 years ago maybe. And I was at that time, I was still playing a few games, but I was playing Batman Arkham, the Batman Arkham games. And that was really all I was playing at that point.
Some guy in the chat is asking why Drew Corberson isn't involved in the KOTOR remake. I think I know why. They're rewriting the whole story, which is why BioWare isn't credited in the teaser trailer. Because they have nothing to do with it. That includes the writing.
I keep hearing back and forth on that. It's honestly one of my biggest fears because KOTOR was my favorite game up until recently of all time. So I play it every year. It's kind of like one of those routines where I watch the trilogy or the original movies, and then I'll watch go through and do a playthrough of KOTOR. I just love that game.
No, I probably won't because I don't play video games at all anymore. Like 10 years ago was the last one I played was Arkham City. That's the last game that got played. I don't know how long that game's been out now, but that was the last video game I played. I played through it twice because I enjoyed the storyline and I got the downloadable content. I got the Harley Quinn downloadable content. You could play as Robin because Batman had been captured, I think. And that was it.
That was a very popular game. It's not one I ever played, though.
I played that, and that was it. And that was it for me for video games. Because by that time, I'd already found board games, and I went totally into board games.
I played the first two Arkham games. I played through them probably 10 times. It just made me like Batman again, you know?
I lie. I played
Origins.
Origins was the last one I played. I did play Origins. I hated the bug in it, so I didn't play it again. You know, when you got to Firefly, it would always freeze up, and then sometimes you had to restart your entire Xbox. I had to do that 3 times trying to fight Firefly.
And that didn't happen to me, but I had enemies kind of their sprites or whatever you call it, their 3D models were inside boxes and stuff, so you couldn't take them out.
It's horrible. It's horrible, and they didn't even fix it. They didn't even bother fixing it. And the thing is, that could have been a really good film. I mean, really good game, but with all the bugs and everything, it just bothered me. I never replayed that one.
I did beat the game though.
That was when I stopped because I was sick and tired. I was like, well, surely they're going to put a patch out here to fix it. They never did. I was like, screw y'all. And then I didn't like all the downloadable content stuff. And like I said, I was already doing board games once a week anyway by then. So, yeah, I was done. But it was, you know, but the thing is, I won't play the new one because I'm not into video games at all. I don't even have game apps on my phone. I do for fun when I'm sitting in a, you know, red light or what, you know, if I'm just sitting around and
the red light district.
Yes.
And I hear that's big in Monroe.
I'm telling you,
he's playing with his joystick in the red light district.
There you go. Here we go. It is after midnight, right?
It is after midnight, but it's true. But no, I'll check email, check the news, you know, make list in my head. But I just don't. It just those types of games are a thing of the past for me. You know, my Xbox, I think I've told the story a million times about Xbox. My sister-in-law, when she was young, she was over here and she left it on all night. She was watching movies on it or something. She fell asleep. I got up to go to work. I didn't realize it was on, and I just went out the door, and then she left, but left it on. So it stayed on for over 24 hours. By the time I got home, it had the red ring of death on it. I was like, oh, God. And we couldn't afford another one at that time. So I was like, dang it, we are screwed. But
I think that was the last Xbox I owned too, was the 360.
John, email me if you want to jump in, brother, if you got some time. Relic's one of the oldest, one of my old school subs. He's really good. He's Australian too.
I had both my Xboxes died a month ago or so.
Ooh.
Yeah, first the Xbox One, it just went poof. And then I was trying to use the 360, right? I have an old 360, and that one, it logs me on, as you know, when I turn it on, and then it refuses to log on to the internet, and it says my password isn't correct. I'm like, you just logged me on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense at all.
No.
Well, so I remember all my Xbox. I have the Xbox. I have the Super Nintendo Mini, the Nintendo Mini. I got this for my wife.
Nice.
I got a modded Super Nintendo Mini, with all the games on it.
Nice.
And oh, okay, John, no problem, brother. But there's just so much that I got on it. But the thing is, the guy who put it on there just I said, okay, there's 3 games. I need to make sure you get on there. And because he's going to put all the Super Nintendo stuff like that. I said, I want Double Dribble. I love that basketball game as a kid. I want another one I think it's called Knight's Quest. I said, it's a stupid game we used to play, but I want that one. I said, the other one, I said, it's for Super Nintendo or N64 or whatever, because he could put N64. I said, I got to have Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
That was my
Rogue
favorite.
Squadron's a must-have, right?
That was my favorite. I didn't play many Star Wars games, but I played the heck out of the second one. I thought sucked.
Was that 97?
Something like that. Guess
what?
I
played that. I got that for Christmas. I played it all day.
Those, and I swear, those were the 3 things I asked for. It came in. I turned it on. It has all Nintendo, all Super Nintendo, all N64. It's missing Knight's Quest, Double Dragon, and X-Wing Rogue Squadron. And I called him. I said, did you do that on purpose? I thought he did it on purpose. I thought he specifically left those 3 things. No, he said, they're not on there. He said, I just took a whole big file dump. I said, no, they're not on here. Oh, and I wanted a 4th one called Bible Adventures, which was kind of random. But he says, I guess I'll have to look for the. I was like, dude, and I still don't have those 4. I think I know a buddy of mine who could, if I can find it somewhere in one of my closets, bring it back out and load those 4 games. But the 4 games I asked for, specifically, were the only ones.
I know they put Rogue Squadron onto the PC, so if you ever get desperate, you can always put it onto a PC.
Yeah, but
you can get it on GOG. They have it there.
GOG.
Or it works on newer Windows versions, and also, the Bible Adventure game. That one's scripted. Sorry, fun.
Dude, we used to play that as kids. It came out from Wisdom Tree, and it was knockoff. It was a knockoff. It wasn't a Nintendo official brand. They just made games for the Nintendo, and didn't. It's kind of like how what's their names did that. Tengen started doing that. They started getting the different. They were the ones with black slick case.
Right. Black case, different
They
shape.
didn't have official licensing, but they sold games for the Nintendo.
Had like a angled box instead of just a box.
Which was, to be honest, I thought those were nicer.
I did too.
I thought they looked slick, and I didn't think they were a cheap knockoff.
They were much better to hold when you had to try to blow the dust out of them.
Yeah, exactly. Wisdom Tree had like green holders instead of black holders for it, which was kind of weird. The packaging was a little weird, but I didn't think it was a knockoff either. But we had played those games all the time, and like I said, he downloaded everything but he said it just wasn't in the list. I was like, ah. So my wife, I played around with it here and there, but my wife she played through. She loved Disney's Aladdin back in the day, Donkey Kong Country and stuff like that. So she had a lot of fun. But then eventually we just wrapped them up, and they're somewhere, in the ether. I don't know. They're somewhere in one of these closets. But the thing is, I'm just never gonna build it out. Bring it out anytime soon, just because I just don't. I guess I could, because now, shoot, my old NCAA game, I'd go through a season once more. So maybe I should but it's just so much trouble hooking it up now. I just don't want to go through the trouble of digging through the closet to find it's somewhere in either this closet or the closet down the hallway. But
pretty soon, if your game group keeps dying, you might not have a choice but to bring that out.
Oh, my game group's gone. I've hit that reality. So
that's just depressing.
I got some good games in this past weekend, and for Labor Day I had a fun one. But yeah, it's because my other buddy he can't come over but once a month maybe, and I was like, oh, and then my nephews are kind of they're into video games and Minecraft videos, so I'm like, what happened? How did I mean, I kind of had a feeling the fun was ending at the end of August when everyone was going to school or moving away, having a kid, everyone's life changed. And I get that. I'm totally fine with that. But like, what happened? Now there is one avenue I can take. The only problem is I have to go there. They cannot come here. But there is one avenue for someone who would play games every night with me.
There is still hope.
There is hope, and it would have fun. Would be fun. But the thing is, though, I would have to travel over there, and not that that's a bad thing. It's just I like being at my house.
Well, with all the games that you don't have to move into, a completely different area.
That's true too. And I just recently this summer ripped my game bag that Megan bought me. It'd been good for years, and I packed it too much for the summer vacation. And when I was hauling it, it just tore. And I was like, oh no, is it bad? Oh, it was torn everywhere. It ripped in several places. I packed too much. But those things can hold a lot. But either way, though, yeah, the game group's that's why I need Dylan here. Why do you think I'm trying to get Dylan? I've been wasting my energy trying to get Dylan. Well, see,
I hear you're looking for a house specifically so there's a room for Dylan.
A room for Dylan, a room for my games. Heck, the room could be for Stieg.
No. I'm happy in Norway.
Oh yeah.
What if we put you on the second story? You'd have the high ground.
No,
that's true.
It's we're in the middle of a dictatorship here in America. How are things in Norway?
Pretty quiet, and it's getting weird to look at your country from the outside now, because it's not good. There's a lot of, I don't know, it's kind of baffling, and it's not necessarily just a one party thing right over there. It's just both sides are being extra weird.
Yeah.
The fact that there's sides at all is a problem.
It was funny, Brian, because Chris texted me last night, and we talked a little bit about it. He just wanted to hear me. I guess he just wanted to hear me go off. Because he knows how I feel.
Oh dear.
About it all. But I'm sure he was. I was like, oh my gosh. So we kind of chatted about, hey, where's here? Send her an invite too if she wants to hop on. Stig's had a busy week. He's been everywhere. Hopping, tagging you. Why'd you miss Coffee Chat, by the way? I missed it.
I slept. You know what happened? I was having insomnia issues, and Coffee Chat starts at 6 my time, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And I was gonna jump on a stream with someone that usually streams on before Alora, so I could stay awake. And I laid down, and because he wasn't streaming that day, and I laid down to read some truths at Bakura for Alora's book chat, and I was reading, and bam, I woke up 5 hours later next to the book. It was like I slept for a second, I was just out.
Yeah.
But I did warn Alora about that though, because I was having sleep issues.
Oh, she did well. She did. She interviewed Teresa. That was fun.
Yeah, that was later on that same day. That was
later on this week. Yeah, that same. Oh yeah, it was. So yeah. Fun stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, he did. You can come on here and chew him out if you want to. But yeah, no, I just, it's been fun. And then Tim was on for a little while.
Actually, you know what? I'm not to blame at all because I fell asleep reading the book she told me to read. So she's to blame. She's the one who made me read that book that made me fall asleep.
That's how that works.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
That's good. Blame the woman.
Yeah, always blame the woman.
That's great. That's great.
I have to...
No, go ahead.
No, that's I always have that problem when I'm reading too. Is it makes me sleepy because that's just my routine. Is I always read for a while before I go to bed. So if I ever catch myself just reading a book for a while, I suddenly get really drowsy. It's just programmed into me now. So I got to be careful with that.
Yeah, I have to read in bed too. It's a habit.
Yep.
Just need to. Yeah. Finished reading the Jaws novel though.
Jaws, huh? Like as in the shark Jaws?
Yeah. The book the movie's based on. It was good. It was different, but worth a read if you're a fan of the movie.
Yeah. So one of the things, and I know I've said this. Oh, look at this! Look who's here! Oh my goodness! It's the Matt Wilkins hater streamer.
He's been around for a little while now. Surprised you missed him until now. He hasn't making his presence known apparently.
What's the piss couch reference? Is this Seinfeld?
Dylan, our friend Dylan, sits on this homeless man's couch usually when we're streaming, and they've just started calling it the piss couch just because it looks ugly. And it's just the old, the old college couch in Dylan's apartment. I had one of those too. Shoot, I loved couches. At one time, I had 6 couches in my apartment because I had so many people. I needed places for them to sit. So when anyone was going to get rid of a couch, I went, here, bring it over here. And I had 6. I remember because the apartment I had a little, living room, den area, and then a dining room area right next to it. When the dining room area, I never put up a table there. I don't eat. I eat on my plate, not on a table when I'm in college or whatnot. So I just put 3 more couches out in that little, in that little corner hole, and just so people could have places to sit. I mean, shoot, one time I had so many people spend the night that I had people in my hallway. I had tons. I threw a bunch of them away when I moved here. I had gotten tons of old sleeping bags from my mom, from other people. I was like, look, I'm going to have a bunch of people, because a bunch of people were coming into town, and they kept saying, Matt, can we stay with you? I was like, absolutely. I said, absolutely. I said, hey, there may just be floor space, but absolutely. And seriously, there was not any floor space left. Everyone was sleeping on the floor. People were sleeping in my hallway. And one person, because there was no more carpeted room left in the entire apartment, he put his sleeping bag and pillow in the bathtub and slept in the bathtub. Because there's literally no other place for him to sleep. So it was, and that was the craziest I'd ever, because I remember walking around that night going, wow, look at how many people I got in here. But of course, that was not ideal, right? Using the bathroom, using the shower. We only had 1.5 bathrooms in that apartment. So needless to say, that never happened again.
Imagine someone getting drunk and peeing in the tub, and he's sleeping in it.
That would be awful.
Don't make for a Seinfeld episode.
I'm telling you. Yeah, Iron. I was king of the couches for a short time, but then true story, I gave 3 of them away because these girls needed these that wanted couches, and they said, "Hey, can we have some of yours?" I said, "Yeah." So which one? I said, "Well, which ones do you want?" And they picked, of course, the 3 nicest looking ones.
Yeah, of course.
And I wasn't keen on giving those up because I thought they'd take the old ratty ones from me. But they wanted the newer ones. Like, I already told them they can have them. I should have thought about this. I was like, yeah, you can have them. I was like, rats. So, and I remember the last couch that survived was a couch we'd had since I was a kid. It was a yellow couch that it was really heavy. It had one of those old trundle beds. Was why I kept it, because we could pull out the bed. You know, it could be another bed for someone. But that thing was so stinking heavy. And I remember when I moved into what would be my last apartment, I remember sitting on that couch going, because I had to move that next. I went, you know what? We're not taking this. We're throwing it away, because it was just old. You know, we'd had it since the 70s, maybe. I don't know. We'd had that couch forever. I was like, no, this couch isn't going. Chunked it. And I said, I just won't have. And I remember when I got my furniture, I went around because we had this furniture when my wife and I got married. I went around the furniture store picking up couches because I wanted to find the lightest couch. And I remember I picked one up, and it was made of driftwood, and it was really cheap. I was like, this is super light, and I could carry the whole couch by myself. I was like, yeah, I'll buy this set. And it was really cheap too. It was made cheap stuff. And eventually, like, we brought it, one couch, because someone jumped on it and it just cracked and broke. So I only had the 2-seater and the little armchair seat. So when we moved here, we didn't have really that much furniture. And I'll be honest, those couches were like doctor's office chairs. They were very uncomfortable. You know, the couch, it looks nice, but it's not comfy at all. And that's what exactly those couches were. So Meg's like, I hate these couches. I was like, yeah, but we don't have anywhere else for people to sit. And we didn't have that much stuff to do. I mean, it was funny. I would laugh to go back. I should have just filmed what our house looked like when we first moved in, because this room was practically empty and everything. It's about time I had someone good looking join this chat.
Finally.
Leaving me with big.
How is everyone doing?
Hold on. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. I'm so sorry, folks. That guy's gone. Sorry about that. I was not paying attention to the chat.
I missed that too.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing better now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when he starts off by, because I saw one of his comments, it was like, George Lucas never liked the EU. Then you know he's a moron.
He also said he likes fawn, not Thrawn.
Yeah.
One of those. Oh, so tired of those people.
Well, see, I'm just tired of people just saying that and expecting, like, all they want is to do an argument. But the thing is, though, there is no argument. It has been proven over and over. There are so many references that come from Lucasfilm that contradict that narrative.
Right.
There's no point in arguing it. In my opinion, that you are willfully ignorant or just plain stupid. I mean, if you just want to
aren't we like 7 years past that argument already?
I know.
Sure.
You would think. But they use the same.
Yeah, but the problem is that 7 years ago, those people were 7 years old.
True. Very true. I was actually just having this conversation with some other people earlier today. So yes, you're exactly right, Steve.
But I refuse to have it anymore, because if you're too dumb not to look it up, I mean, these are from Lucasfilm's magazines, from official interviews from top brass. I mean, if you can't, you know, the New Yorker, from other articles too. If you can't read, if you can't pick up, and all of the references are on the site. On the website, so you can read. And then if you don't believe me, you can go hunt them down yourself and look them. In fact, there's another one that I need to put up there. It's from doggone it, Chris, let me borrow them. What was the role playing? Not Galaxy. It was Collectibles. It was the Collectibles magazine, and it didn't. I can't remember what it was called. Star Wars Collectibles, maybe, I don't know, but it didn't have short stories in it, so I never got it. But it did have interviews, and one of the interviews was with West End Games, and West End Games said it was really. They said they never got to talk to George personally, but they were allowed to submit, and this is what the New Yorker said too, a yes/no questionnaire that George would respond back to, and they said what was cool is every once in a while George would write out, they'd send it back to them with George writing down a few extra. He says yes, and then he writes notes, or he says no, and then he writes notes. He went, and that was really cool that George Lucas was directing us and what we should do, what we should, that he really had a hand in this. And I was like, okay, because that's exactly what the New Yorker witnessed when he stayed a day with George. This is before the prequels were being written. You know, George is thinking he's getting things ready for the prequels, but he has to go through the EU checklist that was given him, and he's clicking yes and no.
Right.
About certain things. So
I mean, all you have to do is watch the prequels. It's full of EU stuff.
Oh yeah.
Even name a Coruscant itself.
Yeah, Ayla Secura, Quinlan Voss, and he even references novels and comics in the prequel movies, like Voss's movies, Troops to Boss Pity and stuff. That's from a comic.
Yep.
Right.
And you have Labyrinth of Evil is referenced, Approaching Storm. He put Dash Rendar's ship in the special editions for the OT, and his droid, I think. And his Zor is at the pod race.
What was his droid's name? I can't remember now. That's gonna bug me.
I don't remember either. It's kind of late over here.
Wait, the netherworld of the Force? World between worlds? Are you? I don't know about netherworld.
I think that's all Disney canon.
That's new canon. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
there's no
that's
such
the
thing in
lore.
the EU. The only thing they ever had that came close was Other Space, which is a West End Games adventure thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, that's really the only thing we only got it from West End Games. But it was neat because I should have grabbed that quote from West End Games. He's back again.
The world between world things is just something Filoni created on the fly so he could bring Ahsoka back again.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lebo.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is why Relic should have been on here.
I'm telling you, he's a smart guy. But no. What were we just talking about? I just forgot.
You had finished.
But it was. But when the New Yorker followed him, George Lucas was sitting there doing yes, no, and writing little comments about, here's what I want the book to be about, or no, don't make this. Like when New Jedi Order, they even said that. Yeah, George said no Dark Jedi, make him something else. And then he also said no on Jason dying. He said I want Anakin to die. And this is one that no EU hater can answer for me. He wanted Anakin to die because he didn't want people to get confused when they read about an Anakin in the books. Well, if the books were never considered canon, why would that even bother you?
Yeah,
right.
George.
Yeah. He also said they couldn't kill off Luke.
Right.
Why not? If it's not canon.
Right. If they couldn't kill off Luke, he wasn't allowed. Chewbacca did get the approval because they wanted to kill off Luke originally, and then they thought about Han, but then they didn't want to kill Han. They said, "What about Chewie?" And so they submitted that, and George said, "Yeah, you can kill off Chewie. That's fine." But again, why does it matter if it's not canon? Remember, George Lucas never used the word canon.
Right.
He said, "There's my story. There's the story by my company, Lucasfilm, and then there's the fans." And that's his 3 tiers, his 3 levels, whatever he talked about. But he never said the word canon. Lucasfilm was and still today are the only people who have been talking about what is and isn't canon.
Right.
So I mean, it's just out there. And like I said, you are at this point willfully ignorant. You're willfully ignorant if you don't understand that.
Yeah.
Or just trolling.
Yeah, trolling.
He talks about the netherworld of the Force at the end of I don't remember him saying that.
It's projection because they're the EU is more popular than the stuff they like, which is Disney canon, so they try to discredit it.
And see, that's the only thing I don't understand. Why this, and we talked about this when we talked about Star Wars Ronin when it got announced, is that when someone said, "Oh, is this Legends?" and they said, "No, it is not Legends." Well, why did you want to make that specific there?
Yeah.
Because remember, we were told originally that Legends was everything that wasn't canon. Well, obviously, that comment right there said that is not true. there is the hierarchy again. You have their loose canon, which is what we're going to call it. Then you have the Legends universe, and then you have everything else, which is where Star Wars Ronin fits in, because they were specific to say it's not Legends, really, because you defined Legends as being anything that's not canon a long time ago.
I know a lot of people that had said that this is exactly what was going to happen to Disney, but with the new canon breaking down into the hierarchy just like the old EU used to be. But I think it was Chris Nelson's video that really put it best. So if you guys haven't seen that, I would go search for that on his YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's great. Noah, how have you been?
Good. Look what I got recently.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me blow that up.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Oh wow. Yeah,
that's what we're reviewing. That one, I believe, right, Stig? Is that the one we're reviewing?
No, this is volume 3.
Right.
Or is it 4? No, this is 4.
This is 5.
That's 5.
Oh, 5. Yeah, it's a new one. It's just just released.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
The toy block video. That's right.
I told you.
Indeed.
It was already confusing back then. But yeah, so that Epic collection, the Epic collections from Marvel that are coming out are really nice. They're really nice collections. I'm glad they keep coming out with it. I do know for a fact there are people at Marvel who love those old stories, and they want to. I mean, shoot, Matthew Rosenberg said on my channel, the guy who wrote 108 here, said, yeah, they're all big EU fans.
Yeah.
His editor, his chief, when they said, yeah, do you want to do this? He went, absolutely. And they've read the books. They read all the Bantam books. They read the Del Rey books. They were fans of that. That's why he includes so many connections. Like I said, when I read it, even I was surprised.
Right.
I loved my favorite. Yeah. There you go. Hold on, Noah.
Oh yeah.
I have all of the omnibuses except the one Noah showed up. I haven't bought it yet.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah. And in fact, that he fit in RJ, of course. But my favorite one, they had that silly name in the Marvel comic books about who they were. They were the Galaxy Far, Far Away, whatever those initials were the Galactic Federation of Far Planets or
Free Alliances.
Free Alliances. Thank
Galactic
you.
Yeah.
Okay. He goes, wait, aren't y'all the GFFA? He's like, no, we're just the New Republic now. That was just too long to say. So he changed it. So, I mean, basically just switches it up to make it fit with the Bantam, in line with the Bantam novels. And that was a one-liner that they thought, hey, let's make sure to retcon this too. And I was like, that is so, because when I read that, that's when I realized, I went, oh, and I called Chris and went, have you read this yet? He said, yeah, it's incredible. I said, it's more than incredible. He said, no, I know it has that. I said, I know. I'm shocked because I was expecting a story that falls in line with the old Marvel comic book. They were probably going to give it a better ending, which they did. But then he started tying in stuff from other stuff. I was like, oh, that's a book connection. What's going on here? And that was all done on purpose. And they would love, if they had permission, they'd love to do more. And I want to say something else since we're kind of, as I'm rambling on about this topic, but the book that Laura has, that Noah and Stig has, and that you buy, people are like, oh, I don't want to buy anything with a Legends banner on it. I don't want to give Disney my money. You're not giving Disney your money. You're giving Marvel your money. You're giving Del Rey your money. Remember, Del Rey and Marvel.
Well, Marvel's owned by Disney, though.
I guess they still had to pay for the rights and get permission for everything. But the thing is, though, you're not going to watch another Marvel movie. I don't know. I just don't see the point of that. These collections are out there. Don't go looking for the old copies online that cost $1 billion. They're not. Worth it. It's not worth it. And in fact, this Marvel Epic collection is beautiful. It's beautiful. I love how they're being. Say what?
I've been buying them as well because I didn't have any of the comics. They never got into the comics until after 2014. So it was another aspect of the expanding universe I got to enjoy at least. But I've been getting those as they've been released, and it's been kind of fun.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cheaper than trying to find them, and then again, giving your arm and leg and your firstborn for them, So, I mean, I guess you gotta sacrifice a little bit and get something with Legends label when it comes to like the collections.
The only problem is they don't really reprint them. Like if there was
they only reprint the newspaper strips and those omnibuses, they get reprinted. And the Marvel ones too, but the Clone Wars and stuff like that, nope. If Clone Wars Volume 2, if you look that one up on eBay, you're going to be shocked. People are charging an arm and a leg for that one, but not Volume 1 and 3. It's weird. And there was another one too, but I don't get it. They keep reprinting the ones that people don't really wanna buy, the newspaper strips and all.
Yeah.
But supporting that kind of stuff is good for the franchise from the Legends franchise aspect of things, and they've kind of been piecing out little bits of Legends content. It's obviously just reprints and stuff, but I mean, obviously they're doing their essential readers collections or whatever now. But the thing that caught me off guard was the audiobooks that are being released unabridged, and that was kind of exciting. That was exciting.
Well, they're doing that for a reason. It's to promote future Disney Canon stuff, because they renamed the X-Wing book. It's called the Rogue Squadron series now.
Right.
And it's because they're doing a Rogue Squadron movie.
And that makes some sense, but they also did that to Shatterpoint, which I don't know if that's tied in.
Oh, I think Mace Windu is going to be in the Book of Boba Fett, because they said the Book of Boba Fett is going to be about Boba Fett taking revenge on the people who wronged him. Well, the only one who wronged him was Mace Windu.
He's going to be an old-ass, scarred-up, wrinkled guy if they bring him in.
And, they re-released the Old Republic comics in a big hardcover omnibus, and lo and behold, Old Republic stuff is starting to happen. Which is probably why they did the Bane trilogy too.
Yeah.
So I think there's ulterior motives. And the Thrawn stuff, they're going to put that in the Ahsoka show.
But they're also doing things like Hasbro releasing its gaming characters. There's a bunch of Legends characters that have been getting figures all of a sudden, which is great, because we normally had to campaign for those types of things.
Who's getting figures, Brian? Remind me.
Some of the video game characters. I haven't seen anything recently, but yeah.
Dylan told me about those. Yeah. No,
it's been a few months.
And that's great, and it's great that the books are coming out too. I think we've talked about this before. Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3. We forgot to talk about Wave 3 yesterday on A More Civilized Age.
You know what I think is going to happen?
What's that?
With the KOTOR remake and all, they're going to announce Rian Johnson's trilogy, and it's going to be set in the KOTOR era. Mark my words, because he has nothing coming up except Knives Out 2, which is almost done anyway. After that, there's nothing on his plate.
Maybe, but he's been talking about it for so long now. I mean, that's Hollywood, right? For you, it doesn't have to be instant, but
that's right. Salbar is. You're right.
I don't want to go on a Doomcock revelation there and just predict. I'm kidding. I don't.
No, I'm pretty sure. Because so far Disney's doing exactly the dumbest thing they could possibly do. They do it.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
They hired a writer from the Mary Sue SJW website #1 to rewrite Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not dumb, what is?
Well, I calculated Mace Windu's age. I looked it up, and he'd be 81 if they brought him back during that time.
Which is close to Samuel Jackson's age, though.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah. So
and that writer lady that's rewriting KOTOR, she got famous for claiming she got raped in Grand Theft Auto 5.
That was in Ryan's video, right?
Yeah. She got raped by a video game.
Yeah. I didn't talk about that in my video. I was like, no, I'm just going to talk about the obvious of like, it's a remake, so that means they're going to change the story. My dog's barking. And then it's going to be a rewrite. That means they're going to change the story. So those are the red flags people need to look at.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But either way, though, it's just one of those things where there's not going to be a change at Lucasfilm, so there's a change at the top, and I'm not talking about who they're hiring and whatnot, but I'm just saying a change in the attitude, because the attitude toward the fans is you like what we like, or it's your fault. You're the ones who are toxic. You're the ones who are the idiots. You're the ones who are the fill in the blank, and this fan blaming is insane to think. Why are you blaming fans for making a product that they didn't like? I mean, can you imagine advertisers doing that? Why aren't you, Pizza Hut, why aren't you buying our pizza over the rivalries? You just have no taste? Are you a bunch of idiots? You must be stupid.
Yeah, there's waiter, there's a fly in my soup. Oh, that's your fault. You should eat it anyway.
Yeah. Well, why did you invite the fly to come in there? It's the most mind-boggling thing, and it starts at leadership. Starts at the top. It starts at the top. There's some good people that work at Lucasfilm. And there's some people who treat you with respect. That's for sure. I've talked to them.
I've talked to them too.
You've talked to them.
How do you think we got to a celebration?
No, and they're good people. And I'm not saying that the whole corporation is corrupt. I'm just saying the people that they have running their mouths on social media, someone needs to say, hey, guess what? Don't talk anymore to fans. Shut up.
Yeah, because they have their job listed in their Twitter bios, and they have a blue check mark, and with that means you're representing your employer, and you have that old saying, what's said in my name reflects on me.
Yes.
That's what's happening. Really.
Our company has a very strict policy on that. If you say you work for the company, you need to be careful about what you post and what you say, because it could be construed as the acts of the company. And these people are in high positions. People know who these people are. It's not just some, technical director of a, couple of episodes of Clone Wars is making these comments. It's some of their big faces coming out there and just vehemently mocking fans, telling them they're stupid, get over yourselves, you're toxic, you're racist, you're blank, you're this. Stop.
Well, it's the perfect shield though for criticism, because all they really have to do is put an LGBTQ character, in a movie as one of the leads, and as soon as you don't like the movie for all kinds of other reasons, they can just go, yeah, you don't like it because there's a gay fellow in it. That makes you a bigot or something.
Yeah, well, that was
the Chuck Wendig excuse.
Yeah, Chuck Wendig. Oh no, the real reason. He's like, no, that's not the real reason. The real reason is your writing style sucks and it doesn't show form. And this guy just tore him over. He was an English major. He's like, he said, your writing is all over the place. Say, no, let's get to the real reason. You don't like that I have gay characters. Yeah, that's what because he can't argue on an intellectual level about how his writing style is subpar.
Right.
You brag about writing this book in 45 days. Like that is some awesome, but we can tell because it sounds like a bunch of cliff notes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So don't get mad when people say stuff like that. And then also at the same time, if your book sold well, who cares?
Of course it sold well. It had a Star Wars logo on it.
It had a Star Wars logo.
It was the first Star Wars book ever to take place after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, at long last, finally, the story of what happens after.
How we know.
Nothing. Just a little. I mean, I'm so glad we've just totally erased.
Wibbly wobbly.
But like I said,
then they retconned it in The Mandalorian.
Right.
everyone gets on to Kathleen Kennedy because she said we don't have source material to lean back on. We don't have all that. And then it's like, just someone put a meme of her doing we don't have the source material, and just Photoshop this in the background, But the thing was, when she saw a billboard out in her front yard for 7 months of last year, she kind of had to do a 180 and say, yeah, we have books, we have comic books, we have this. And then I can't remember who it was. Noah, did you put up the video where she's saying we don't have content, but then someone put a video up, and then there's the video of when George was doing the whole video of handing her the business. He said, right, we have books, hundreds of books, thousands of comic books, a whole treasure trove of stories to dig from. And she's going, and you're like, wait a minute, what did you weren't listening? What were you doing?
These right here, I got his. This was
Look how beautiful those are, Stig. Hold on, show them all.
This is bought from Kevin J. Anderson. He did sign them, so that's why they have the legends up there. So he did sign them.
Well, but Wilkins though, I have the hardcover omnibus for these.
The best. I love
Very
this.
Nice.
So, yeah, Wilkins keeps having digs at me for that trilogy, but I bought the hardcover, man.
Yeah,
the blue one.
Yeah, so these have Kevin J. Anderson's signature, and it's bought directly from him, so I didn't buy it from the source.
So is it like from a website of his, or how's that work?
Yeah, he purchased a bulk of these, and he signed them, and then I went through his website and purchased.
Yeah. That's what they do. So there's mine signed.
Nice.
And his wife was there with him, signed it too. But I've gone to a lot of conventions, and I've seen him and spoke to him a lot of times. Yeah. And I have everything of his signed except for, and I didn't realize what it was beforehand, but the Jabba's Palace pop-up book. I did not know about that until I was doing my deep dive, reviews of the EU. I was like, wait, what is a pop-up? Kevin J. Anderson, and it's EU. And I got so excited. I was like, oh no, I need to go back and find him so he can, because he signed. I used to bring backpacks. I didn't want to bring them all at the same time, so I'd bring like a few here. Next time I saw him, I brought a few more. But I had him sign just about everything I had. So,
I wish I could see him in person so I can have him sign the page that has Wedge's girlfriend on there so I can show to Stig.
Oh, that'd be
the chicken
awesome. Girlfriends. But yeah, I didn't know about that until I was doing there's a few things I didn't know about when I did my reviews. Leon still works for the Story Group. He's kind of quiet on the home front, but for him, he obviously doesn't care. Who was it that sent him the question? Noah, was it you? About where does Junior J. Knights fall in? And all he did was look up Pablo Hidalgo's book and says, oh, it says here. And that was it.
So he kind of gave up, right? Then he just
no effort. No effort to answer it. Like he's like totally checked out by now.
Yeah. Didn't he try to say that George said it wasn't canon in 2018 after the buyout, even though it contradicts everything that he said prior?
Well, I don't know if he ever
we caught Pablo Hidalgo doing that too.
It was Pablo, but yeah, Leland Chi kind of kept quiet after this because he was the one saying, no, it is canon. When we killed Chewbacca, it was for real. He's not coming back. Everything happens for a reason. Then he had to be real quiet because Disney 180'd all that stuff.
Yeah.
Although apparently he did comment on the whole KOTOR thing, Leland Chi over on Twitter.
Oh.
Somebody had shared this on our Discord channel today. Saying that a pinnacle of Star Wars Legends storytelling is what he's calling it, as what this remake's going to be. So I keep hearing contradicting things, and I'm seeing contradicting things. I don't know if I want to get my hopes up or not, but I'm keeping them in check for now because I know what the last 7 years has been like.
Here's the thing, though: if they're just remaking the graphics and all of that, why are they hiring writers?
Somebody had brought up because of how it's presented currently in the game doesn't really translate well to whatever style they're changing the graphics to or something. But I kind of tend to agree with that. Like, why are we hiring full-on new writers for? Yeah, it seems weird.
And the voice actress who does Bastila, Jennifer Hale, was probably a top of the line voice actor. She did the female Shepard in Mass Effect. Mm-hmm. She said she was loving, the Mary Sue writers writing for KOTOR. So I'm like, there is new writing going on.
Well, she also still voices a couple characters, I believe, in the ongoing MMO too, SWTOR. She does the female trooper voice and Satele Shan, of course.
Yeah, she's done a pile of stuff for BioWare. She was in Dragon Age 3 and the old Baldur's Gate. She was in 2 of those. As soon as BioWare does something, odds are she's involved.
What? With good reason. She is quite good.
Yeah.
You know what? The lady who voices Juhani in KOTOR,
yes,
is the same one who does the voice for Jack in Mass Effect 2.
Really?
Yeah, and you can't tell.
Wow.
I would not have connected those two.
Wow. Okay. The more you know.
The more you know.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Wait, I haven't asked Noah. Noah, you want to come live over here? Hang out with me?
Sorry, no.
You live in a small town. No one your age. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, to America, like really?
We have a dictatorship here now. Come on.
The things Jeremy talks to me, what he tells me, that just sounds horrible.
Jeremy lives in California. That is a horrible place.
I live in California too, so.
My apologies. My condolences on that one.
I live in the Indian reservation, so it's not that bad. I kind of live on sovereign land that's not California, so.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to go there to visit, but I could never get a reservation.
I know. Sorry, you don't qualify.
Good one, Steve.
See, this is what we were missing out, coffee chat. But it was really good, even with you not being there. So
that was peaceful.
Yeah. There's full on racism on the coffee chat behind the scenes and during.
Yeah, he's really bad towards me. He's really prejudiced towards natives.
I'm telling you.
Really.
Yeah. Really.
It's so awful.
Matt, I think everybody keeps turning you down because they know you're just looking for a babysitter.
Well, maybe. Noah, how are you as a kid?
So him and his wife can go on dates and stuff.
I have a fun babysitter voice. Sorry, not voice story. I was babysitting my nephew when he was like 7 or 8 a few years ago, and I got him to play Doom on the Xbox, the old Doom, the original, and we were playing it, split screen.
I love that.
And and he picked up, he found the Gatling gun, and then he just says, "Uncle," and I was like, "Yes." I look at him and he says, "I hope you haven't eaten because you're gonna get a belly full of lead." And I was like, "Yeah, we're related."
Oh God,
that is great. Oh man, boy, it was fun because when we were kids, we didn't know what BFG meant. Big freaking gun.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a big one too.
I'm telling you, we had a fun time with that one. We played that, and we played Wolfenstein a lot. Wolfenstein 3D or whatever it was called. Golly, they used to have those. What were they? Engines online that would play the original ones, because I used to download the little game and play it on one of my old laptops.
Well, that's what GOG does. They fix up old games like that and lets you play them on new computers.
And all you do is pretty well priced.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have Wolfenstein over there, and
GOG.
Yeah, GOG.com. They have pretty much all the old Star Wars games too. You get Shadows of the Empire and KOTOR, what have you.
Oh, Steve. This is a zoo porn site. You got me. I'm kidding.
Oh jeez. Well, while you're looking at that, I got my copies in for my painting. Reprints.
Oh.
They're for sale.
Hold on, let me pull it. Let's put it there. There you go, folks.
Nice.
So I got 3 different sizes for right now. I got this huge one.
Wow.
That's a nice piece.
Yeah, painted. I sketched it out, inspired by the cover with her and Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I took them out, redrawn, reimagined. I put Rat-a-Tack behind her. It's called Mistress of Rat-a-Tack. So
nice.
And then I'm going to do one of Quinlan Vosk, and I'm going to put Kifu right behind him. So his home planet.
That's awesome.
And create a series. And I'm thinking of doing T-shirts for the channel with her.
Yeah, you could do because I have a Teespring thing. I've sold 4 shirts in a year. And
and they give you
people, yeah, 2 of the people who bought it got COVID. So half the customers got COVID a few days after they got the shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you can put your stuff on shirts over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even that difficult to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Quinlan the boss wants to know where they can get it.
You can go ahead or tell them how.
All right, hold on. I'm going to share the link inside our private chat, and then you can share it out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Hey, Star Wars Timeline doing something really cool, folks. He's going through the droids episodes one by one, which he will find out if he doesn't. If he probably has already. There's a lot of connections from droids to the prequels, and that's because George Lucas, when they were writing the story, he opened up the Lucasfilm archives of all his ideas he had, but never got to use. Mm-hmm. Later on, George Lucas would go back and use those same ideas. So the moons of Bogdan, mentioned in episode 2, were first mentioned in droids. The wheel bike was first seen in droids used by General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
There's other things. It wasn't pod racing on Malastare, but it was speed racing, speed racers on Malastare. So that planet was mentioned prior to episode 1. So a lot of the names that he used and the names or the things that went on are used in droids. Yeah. And then later on come into the prequels. And it almost shows, because everything looks somewhat similar, it accidentally ties into a nice continuity between the expanding universe and the prequels.
I actually have all the droids episodes on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
I got away with it. I just figured I'd try. Nobody said anything, so I just let's if someone wants to watch them.
And
they did hit me on the Ewoks though, because I did have the Ewoks.
Hold on, I think I added a. I hit the wrong key, so there it is. There's the correct one.
There you go.
I hit the forward space like a dummy instead of the enter. But there it is.
All right, thank you so much. And those who become a member of my channel and come to live streams before October, their name will be put into a drawing to win a copy of the largest painting, that print of the painting I did.
Yeah.
So
and just say, if you don't know, folks, she has her own channel, and they do a coffee chat every Thursday, and she and Steve do, and they go through page by page different comic books, talking about it, breaking them down. It's really fun stuff. I love that we have so many different. It's like you got the comic thing going over there, and Meg Reviews has the book reviews going on. It's just so much fun to see all these different angles of how people are analyzing the expanded universe. But you definitely need to check out her channel. Noah's channel, you need to leave alone and never go to it. You'll see fake account. I loved because here I am. I'm subscribed to it, and all of a sudden I see a picture of me like, oh, what is this? It has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Just know I thought it'd be fun to put in there as he's talking about his top 10 whatever.
It was a great pose. It's like this expanded universe poster in the background, and you standing in front of it like, Look at this.
I just love it. I just love it. Yes. And I already pitched Star Wars Timeline. He's going. The thing I really like was all the droids thing, but he also interviewed Meg. He does other interviews as well, and the Meg's really cool. I need to have her back on.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's the other thing that, if you could say something that I'm thankful for about the EU not being around anymore, is because I never would have met all of these good people here that I have with me, or you people in the chat. It was kind of weird, because I think a lot of us were in the same, I know I was, but maybe not all of us, but I felt like I was the only one reading it, even though I knew I wasn't, because it was a bestseller. So that'd be other people out there, but it felt like it was just me reading it, because this is back before you really just went out there to see if you could talk to anyone else.
Right.
And, every once in a while I'd run into someone who'd read the books or whatnot. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I found someone who likes these books that I can talk about. And now it's like you can always find people. Yep. If you can't find anyone to talk Star Wars Expanded Universe, you're just not doing your job and looking hard enough. There are so many, and there's more people. There's more people than ever that are doing videos of different things and stuff like that. Quinlan Voss has his old. He's building up his collection and his bookshelf. That's always fun. If you want to look at someone's collectionary thing, he's even reviewed it too. There's a lot of just great stuff out there. And then plus, I love talking to all these people. I love this. Every one of these people in the chat here, they love Star Wars. They love Expanders. Heck, they like the new canon too. Some of them. But
the people who do that, they're adopted.
Well, yeah. Well. Oh, hey, I do want to say this though. About the negativity. Here's the thing, and I don't blame anyone who's wary about this. I would say instead of negativity, it's just the fans have been disappointed so many times because Lucasfilm refuses to listen to them, does things their own way, and basically has a get over it attitude. That why wouldn't some fans? I don't think all fans are like that. I mean, there are certain people who obviously are drawing their own conclusions, but to be honest, I can't blame them.
Right.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
You know what? He has a point though, and I'm guilty of this too, because I was immediately negative to this.
Well, yeah.
And I said so, and I said why. I always say why. But as for the Fandom menace, it's not a thing anymore. It was just a hashtag. It's gone.
Right.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing. Half of them are, like Wilkins says, they're tired of being fooled.
Right.
And then there's another group that just makes outrage videos. They don't even care.
I mean, and those people are going to be around, and I mean, and a sense of entitlement. Well, the thing is, I'm just giving my point of view on it, because for me, I think I said this yesterday on the stream. It doesn't really. I was never into that game to begin with. So whatever change they make, it's not gonna just cut me to the quick, right? Because I don't know the full story of KOTOR anyway. I mean, like all the details and everything like that. I kind of know the overall arc, but I don't know all the details and everything else. So it's going to really cut other people. And other people, they have a right to be wary because they've had so many other things screwed over. Now, is it fair to judge something before it comes out? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if you go into there, I hope that the people who are like, I don't want this, I don't like this, I hope you don't buy it then.
Right.
And then buy it with the reason to hate on it. Like Brian said, he's, fingers crossed, he's going to wait and see.
I'm in the reserving my enthusiasm camp, because I need to wait and see what it actually is before I start judging anything.
And that's totally fair. That's totally fair. And anyone who's going to give it a fair shot and still doesn't like it, I think they have every right to complain. Now, again, someone who's not giving it a shot and saying this is why it sucks, and this is why it sucks, and this is why it sucks, and this is why it's going to suck. Okay, Well, that's because they've been hurt before several times. So not that I agree with that, method of thinking, but I definitely can understand that.
The Star Wars .com confirmed that it's being Disney canon now, the Old Republic. And I think it was StarWars.com that said it. It was like an article about some stuff about it. But and they one of the CEO for the company that's making it said it was gonna fit with the new canon, I think.
I haven't seen any of that anywhere.
Yeah.
If you find that stuff, let us know.
I saw some shit on Twitter today. Don't take my word for it though. But let's say they do, which is probably that's a safe bet that they're gonna do that.
If they do, it'll be extremely disappointing.
Yeah, and it will be a plot hole because there's no hyperspace lanes in the old in the Old Republic in the Outer Rim, because that's a major plot point in the High Republic. They're mapping out the Outer Rim for hyperspace.
And Matthew, the Geek Static, makes that point on the stream, which I thought was interesting. But to answer this, it's YouTube. I mean, here's my advice, and I'm not being mean when I give anyone this. I know people, go, oh, these people, they just do all this. They just hate videos. They just want to get clicks. Okay, well then don't watch them.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't like
exactly. Don't watch it.
I mean, it's just, I the one video I did a long time ago, joke video, because everyone kept asking me to do a reaction video to The Last Jedi.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Made fun.
That was amazing.
I completely made fun. Now, it's so weird that I once again, Nosferatu here got it right. Okay, I'm talking. But actually, I think
wait. Did you just confuse Nostradamus with Nosferatu?
Nostradamus. Sorry.
Yes, you did.
You're a real vampire.
I was gonna say one's a vampire and one's a prophet.
Sorry.
That's some biting criticism right there.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
His whole reputation is on stake.
Oh.
But anyway, let me see. Yes, it's fair. Yeah.
And with me, I was not necessarily a reaction video, but I did a video about the remake of Couture, and basically I was like, when is enough? When are we going to stop, giving our money to these people that bring in people who criticize the fans and talk down at them? And that's what Sam, what's her name, Wags or whatever her last name is. There's evidence of her criticizing the fans, which basically is what every other person and like I said, not everybody, but every other person that was hired by the company to write or produce or whatever has done to the fans. And I'm like, when are you going to stop that vicious cycle and stay in that Stockholm syndrome and keep purchasing and throwing your money to them, even though you don't like what they're doing to you, or maybe even doing to the lore, stop buying into it and save your money and spend it on something else, or even Legends.
If you rewind a couple of years, I remember so many YouTubers saying, after The Last Jedi, that we should all boycott everything Disney Star Wars until KK was out, and then support the EU to show them what we like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost all of them
nice
paid for everything Star Wars since then. The only thing they boycotted was Solo.
Yeah.
They're like, let boycott Disney Star Wars because of Gina Carano. 2 weeks later, come watch my review of The Bad Batch.
Yeah, a little bit contradictory there.
Oh, a hell of a lot.
Definitely contradictory. So what was that? No, was that in the Marvel Omnibus?
Yeah, one of the Epic collections.
Gotcha.
Issue number 49, I think, The Last Jedi.
I need to go through and read all those. Definitely need to read through all those. What would you say your favorite comic is, Noah, for all the Star Wars stuff?
Oh, I just did a video on it. It's Legacy.
Legacy?
Yeah, with KOTOR right behind it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I've read a lot of the KOTOR stuff. I haven't gotten through all of Legacy 2 yet. I did read Legacy, though.
Let me get this other comment here, and I need to have you on here again. But and that's great. That's exactly why you start your own channel. That's exactly why anyone should start. Oh, look out. That's exactly why anyone should start their own channel. If you really like it, like that's why I changed. I just had this channel as just goofing off and posting videos here and there. Wasn't really anything serious. And then when I heard everyone talking about the EU, and they had no idea about, they're saying things, oh, it was never considered canon. It was just full of contradictions. No books connected, really. It was just a hodgepodge of stories. It's like, whoa, someone needs to tell the truth here. This is not truthful. And that's when I started making my videos, and it led me here today, because I was just sick and tired. To be honest, I kept waiting. I kept looking through videos to say someone has to know this is not true. But everyone kept saying the same thing. It was never considered canon. And as you know, folks, it never really connected that well anyway. It just had so many holes in it. I was like, what are you talking about? No one. And none of these people would stand up for it. I was like, I'm going to do a video. And then I got heated and I did my second video. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do, and that was it. I was going to do 3 videos, and then I was going to go back. And that was it. And then it just started catching on from there, where people started listening. I was like, okay, I'll do more. And I'll be honest. Even that's all I was doing, was defending the old EU, and people loved those. So I'd get fiery about it and everything, and I'd be showing the next quote and showing the next. And Ryan makes fun of me, but I'd grab the magazine and I go, see, right here, and I'd read it off and everything, because I had all the magazines. And I say, so look at this article from the New Yorker, January 27th, 1996. Look it up. It's online. I mean, it's just, I was like, boom, boom, boom. And even when I remember I was sick. I was sick, but it was time to do another video, and I never missed a time to do a video of I did a weekly video. I was like, no, I feel terrible. I'm going to do it. And I remember I even said, I don't feel good. I feel like crap. But you know what? I'm going out all guns blazing. And I was like, here's this, and this line, and this line. It was like a guy who just rage punched. And
I want to see someone get so pissed they pass out in the video.
I'm surprised Matt hasn't.
The one thing, and they never got it. They never recorded. They regret it. But there was a podcast I was on, and it was after we went off, and they said, blah, 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 blah. But Dave Filoni says, I said, Dave, let me tell you about Dave Filoni.
Oh, there we go.
I tore into him for about, honestly, a good 10, 15 minutes. And they were rolling on the floor laughing and going, oh my God. He's like, Tristan, tell me you got that recorded. And I stopped and went, you aren't recording, are you? Because I would
have loved to hear that.
I was being overly mean to Filoni, and it was funny. He said, no, he said, I didn't. I stopped the recording. He said, why? He said, you asked me to. I was like, guys, we don't need to have that on anyway, because that was me being unfair, just ranting and raging, because
Matt, it's things like that make me hesitate to invite you to any Twin Sons outing to Celebration, because I almost ran into Filoni on the floor once, which means you could too.
Hey, I would absolutely, and Brian knows this, because everyone knows where that. Well, I guess everyone knows. I was going to go to Celebration in 2020 with Brian. We had talked about this early 2020, because Brian had called us and said, hey, we may have some extra tickets. Would you like to come? I was like, well, yeah, it's going to be in Anaheim, right? Yeah. And I was like, because I said, I don't know, man. And then I thought, well, actually, that may work, because we had a friend that just moved to Anaheim, not Dylan, and she was gonna. She said, hey, y'all come out and see me anytime. Y'all can stay with me and blah, blah. We can take the kids. They were babies, but we can take them to Disney World, Disneyland. And he's like, ooh, I always want to go at Disneyland. So I was thinking, and then I remember I told Brian, so, it may work. It may, let me get back to you. I said, but this may work. And so Chris is like, yeah, I'm going. It's like, well, I want to meet Chris. And Ryan's like, yeah, I'll be there too. It's like, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. And, we were sitting, and I told Brian, I like the idea. I said, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to dress, and where's my...
Oh, no.
The girls took it.
Thank you. Hopefully they hid it from us.
They did. Where is it? Oh, they did take it.
So if you ever met Dave Filoni now,
what we were going to do is we were going to find Chuck Wendig, and I was going to say, hey, and Brian's, he's heard the story. I said, can we get a picture? He goes, okay. And then I was going to bring out my fake beard and big glasses and take a picture with him and see if he recognized who I was. And then I was going to ask if he could get on a video making fun of me. And Brian just did the same thing. He's like, Matt, I'm just saying we should do that. And then I wanted to have Free the Cheat t-shirts and give Leland Chi one. I had all these great ideas.
See, no, he would get a kick out of that because I know he was laughing about it the first time he heard about that.
Yeah. that's a good. Free the Chi, is that what it says?
Free the Chi.
We used to say Free the Chi back when we thought he cared. But that kind of bothers me. Those girls.
Have they retired it?
Well, they ran off with them, I guess, because they kind of crawl through here and they take stuff with them. Like my Ewoks are gone. My little Ewoks, they're gone, man. They have them in their beds. Each one of them sleeps with an Ewok now.
Yeah, they're your kids, all right.
Meridian takes hers to school with her and everything. They're inseparable. The other little girl, she just hugs her at night. You know, it's like, oh, there's my Ewok. Boom. And falls asleep that way. So,
and that's how he hugs Yub-Nub too. Just like Daddy.
Yub-Nub's still with me, but I'll be honest, he's so expensive on eBay. I was going to try to give him a sister or brother, but
well, you couldn't convince Bill to do it for you.
Maybe back in the day before I had kids, I could afford something like that, but can't be that frivolous with my money just to get another Yub-Nub some friends here. But you know, I mean, it'll just. Oh wait, hold on, Matt. Can you please address George's video interview where he distinguishes Well, I mean, you can look at Stephen Colbert's interview with George, January of 2014, 15. I can't remember when Force Awakens came out, or you can just look at. Oh no, go to Star Wars. Go to the expandeduniverse.com. Look at those. Those are all the quotes, I believe, that are in there. But George never says in any of his interviews.
Yeah, and the novels and the EU was on a lower tier anyway, so it's already distinguished. But there's this one interview where he keeps saying the expanded universe or whatever isn't his universe. He's talking about writing. He writes. He's a movie maker. That's his universe. You know, but it's all Star Wars. It's even said that it's all Star Wars.
Exactly.
You know,
Quinlan, how did you get those? How do you have them?
Nippet and Wiley. Oh.
How do you have Nippet and Wiley?
He's jealous. I mean, not Stig. Matt is jealous. Look at that. Matt is jealous. He's like, what?
No, I am, because those friggin' things cost a lot. Even at Comic Cons, I couldn't talk the guy down on the prices. He was selling a bunch of stuffed animals for peanuts. I said, what about those two they're like little fur balls, but they were baby Ewok toys. And he was like, I'll take about 80 a piece for them. 80 a piece? You just told me everything here is $5. So,
Star Wars Timeline is saying George totally changed Quinlan Voss from the comics to the TCW. That was Dave Filoni. George was busy doing Red Tails, the movie, at the time. I even have a quote about that. George wasn't involved at all after he started working on Red Tails. Just showed up for, checked in on them every week or something.
I think if you look at the behind the scenes on that, there's the only time you hear is Dave Filoni will tell a story that he spoke to George about this, or that it's all from Dave Filoni's point of view.
Right.
I'm not calling him a liar. I mean, if you even have one sidebar conversation with George, you're going to act like, yep, talked to George today. He told me to move, please. I get it. You're starstruck and you want to be, next to this prolific creator who everyone knows worldwide. And you can say, hey, guess who I saw this morning? George Lucas. I call him George. Okay, I got you. And no one likes to name drop like Filoni does. So
he always does that when he gets cornered.
Yeah, all his stories about him saying, "Oh, I always imagined that this Jedi could breathe in space," and we're like, "No, George, we're not going to have him breathe in space." Or whatnot. Dave Filoni is very happy to tell you all the ideas that George had that he said no to because it's Filoni's way. Like Ahsoka's got to die. I'm like, no, she doesn't.
Right.
But
he appeals. Filoni's authority fallacy all the time. Filoni does.
Yep.
Appeals to authority fallacy.
George got a credit and his name in the credits, but from what the behind the and please, Dig. Please correct me if I'm wrong. From the behind the scenes, besides them just asking, like he saw a comic book one time, he read a Dark Horse comic book. He said, "Hey, make a video, make a TV show about this." And then, or he'd say, "Hey, put a Gundark in it. Those are from West End Games." He would just do the same yes/no questionnaires. It seemed like.
Right.
Well, again, if I'm wrong, if there's more, please tell me. But he had more involvement in the Ewok movies. The Ewok movies, he actually directed the reshoots. How do I know that? It's in Eric Walker's autobiography. Eric Walker played Mace Tatwani, the first Mace. And he talks about getting to work with George Lucas, who, when the directors had already left, they were cutting and editing, and they didn't have time to shoot. So it was in George's backyard. He said, "Here, I'll shoot it." So he did the pickup shoot. So he was so excited that here he was learning from the great George Lucas and blah blah. And then you talk to who else I talked to? I talked to Tarak. I'm pointing at his picture because the guy's autograph. Lurch from the '90s Addams Family. He told me, and I don't see why I would lie. He went, "Oh, George is great." He said he was there every day, talking to everyone, looking at the shots, asking how things were going. If the director say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" He went, "Yeah, I think the Ewoks would have the talk about how the Ewoks would behave and act." And even he said he got behind the camera a few times and kind of did some directing himself. So and anyone connected, well, I've only met 3 people. One was another just random Ewok who was in the movies. But all 3 of them have told me that, yeah, George seemed to be more involved in those than he was. I mean, shoot, in Ewok's Battle for Endor, Noah Bringsby, is that his name? Bringsby? The oatmeal Quaker Oats guy. What's his last? Anyway.
Well, the credit stuff, though, how it works is George created Star Wars, the characters and the ships, what have you. As soon as something from the stuff he created gets used in something, he gets writing credit. I know this because that happened to me when I used to be a writer. I got credit for books I had no involvement with, but they had used stuff I had created, so I got listed as a lead writer on it. And if you look at George Lucas on IMDb, he is credited for Star Wars Theories fan movie because it uses it uses characters he created. So, but he wasn't involved. He's credited for Star Wars Monopoly. I'm sure he didn't make that video game.
And to your point here about us all conjecture on our side, that is exactly true. Filoni could be lying through his teeth, and George could have been the one always involved making the big decisions. But Dave Filoni sure doesn't want you knowing that, because he's talking about his ideas, his story, and in the behind the scenes. He loves to talk about how great he is an envisioner and how he got this. And the only times I hear about George was putting that Gundark in, was putting the Dark Horse comic book story as an episode, and then any idea that George had, Dave Filoni told us of when he said no to George, and thought this was better, and got George to change his mind. So again, you're correct. Filoni could be the biggest liar on earth.
Well, yes,
George Lucas had massive involvement.
He's on video saying that, and Freddie Prinze Jr. even said this, and that Dave Filoni, well, he said this. I saw it. He said that balance in the Force means 2 Jedi, Obi-Wan and Yoda, versus Vader and Palpatine. That's balance, right? So. And George has said it's just the presence of the Sith that causes the imbalance. He even says that on the Revenge of the Sith DVDs, right? So that's what restores balance. It's, the Sith are gone, but Dave Filoni seems to think it's 2 versus 2. That's balance in the Force, which means every Jedi, as soon as they notice the balance was off, right, and they know there's 2 Sith, all they had to do is kill themselves until there were 2 left. Then you'd have balance.
And then this one, it also could be because he brags so much that you just don't know. It feels more like he wants that legitimacy, so it seems like he drops George Lucas's name so that you don't argue with this point. But he never brings up a single reason. And in the behind the scenes stuff, you don't see George a lot involved in the process. You do see him backstage a few times. You do see him talking to Filoni about a few things. But I'm wondering if he did just the same thing, was come in, ask how it's going, give a few answers, give a few pointers and tips, and then walk out. I mean, because Katie Lucas doesn't talk about her dad being involved that much when she's on camera, when she was involved in the show.
Right. And that's the thing right there. And and Stig has shared a clip from an article. I'm trying to find it, but it's an article after 2008. And George did say that he started stepping away from Star Wars and checking in, or from the company and checking in maybe once a week at best during that time.
Yeah, I have it right there. I can actually read it to you. He's being asked about how involved he is with the Clone Wars. And George's answer is, as soon as the picture loads, I have an old computer.
Well, no, I'm talking about, there was a character. I remember this in the behind the scenes. There was a character that George said, well, he can't. I can't remember. Filoni says, I always imagine that he could do this and he wouldn't need a helmet because the alien is his exoskeleton. And George no. He needs a helmet because if he's going out in space, they can't. That species can't breathe out in space. And he's like, no, George, trust me, this will be easier this way. It'll be fun this way. And then, change his mind about it. So
here's what George said when he was asked about his involvement, if he's still heavily involved with the Clone Wars. He says, no, I mean, I'm doing it just for fun now. I'm an executive producer now. I don't do day-to-day work. I check in once a week, maybe. And it'll be the same thing on the live action show, which is Underworld that got canceled. I'm also producing Red Tails. I'm producing all these things now, and then hopefully in a year or two I'll be completely removed and I'll just be able to go off and do my own movies again. That's what it says. He wasn't involved with Clone Wars as much as people think at all.
Can you please link this?
I'll put it on Twitter.
There's even a quote that came out during the Clone Wars movie, that the 2008 whatever Clone Wars movie.
Whoops, he disappeared.
We lost Noah.
Yeah.
Die Ghostfish is asking, what season did he say that about? Well, it's before Red Tails came out.
I mean, but the thing is, he talked about him not really being involved in this project. This is something that Lucasfilm was doing, and he had given his tips on it, but it seems like he had just as much involvement, if not less, because I know he didn't direct any of those episodes, yet he did pickup shoots for both Ewok movies. I mean, he was about as involved with that as he was with the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Red Tails came out in 2012, so I'm guessing since he was producing it, this is probably the interview is probably from 2011 at the earliest. Which fits with, I've seen people say that George Lucas was only involved with the first 3 seasons of the Clone Wars, which is the seasons that don't have any major EU issues, really.
And I will agree with this. Yeah, it did. It did. And here's the thing. I know there's a lot of people who like Dave Filoni's Clone Wars. Okay. And again, that's totally fine. I enjoyed the first couple of seasons only when Darth Maul started entering the story, and it's just started. And what was that, season 4?
Yeah.
It just really started going downhill, and And I mean, there were still some things in the first few seasons that annoyed me, mainly Ahsoka. But then the stories just started getting dumber and dumber. Now there were things I liked though, because later on they brought in season 5, I think they brought in Cad Bane. Am I right on that? Was he season 5? I can't remember, but he was cool.
Yeah, that's when they. That's when Filoni forgot that Aura Singh is force sensitive.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't do his research. He just picks a character and just goes with it.
Yeah. He just looked at a picture in the comic book. I assume probably
he was in the season 1 finale. Okay, but he was a good character, and even he had stupid stories. Hondo was an interesting character, but he was ridiculous. The bumbling pirate. Didn't they capture Count Dooku once? Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's just there's so many, and the series just got worse. If it would have gone, let's say 2-3 seasons, I'd have said that's not bad. I would have said that. But it just kept going on, and then it's obvious they're running out of ideas. And I'm not making up about the story where Cad Bane opens up.
They had to use a Star Wars Tales comic as inspiration with Darth Maul's return.
Yeah. Well, not even that. It was in Infinities.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So that's the one Filoni took credit for.
Yeah.
Filoni took credit for that, and Katie Lucas went like, "Yeah, no, you got it from the EU," and he was just cowering, just mumbling.
Yeah, it's like he didn't want to say it, but she's like, "No, you know where he got that from?" He's like, "We got it from the comic book, from the Dark Horse comic book." He didn't want to say it. I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" You don't want, but he wanted to take claim for it. So I don't know.
Yep.
Just in the past, I've seen this guy's untruthful. So I take what he says with a grain of salt. He wants to be known as someone big, and to be honest, to be fair, a lot of people like the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the Clone Wars. So, I would say a majority of Star Wars fans probably agree that he did a fine job and he deserves to run Lucasfilm. Makes me want to vomit in my mouth whenever I hear anyone say that.
The weird thing is people who were bashing Ryan, making thousands of videos bashing Ryan Johnson for breaking the lore in The Last Jedi. They still make excuses for Filoni for doing the same thing.
Yeah, and there's a Scoundrels Cantina would agree with you on that. With I don't know about Rebels, but the Clone Wars, they're big fans of any of that whole era is what they live for, and I get it. It's probably one of my least favorite eras. I think it's way too jam-packed. There's some great stories that come out of it, but for the most part, way too much. None of it really hit that sweet spot, though, that other eras did. The only era that's worse, I would say, and Noah would agree with me, is Dawn of the Jedi.
Yeah, that one. I wanted to like it. The comics looked great and all. I just didn't like it.
John Ostrander, the comic books weren't as bad, but the thing is, though, he just didn't get time to tell a story. However, the reason why the comic books aren't that good is because 6 issues into Legacy, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. And I was not a Legacy. I was determined not to be a Legacy fan. So Dawn of the Jedi, that got what, 17 issues?
15, I think.
Oh, 15. Oh, thank you. 15 issues. And guess what? It was just that it had some interest. I was, willing to stay in, but I just wasn't ready to say, ooh, this is the one that's going to get me. John Jackson Miller's Knights of the Old Republic book.
Oh, God, yeah.
6 issue, 1 issue, and you're hooked in.
Right.
I mean, they really, there's comic books that take you, and it tells the Jedi, their first 5-issue miniseries, it brings you into the story of Nomi Sunrider, and it was done, I thought it was done really well. So, but this one, I kept waiting because I knew it was John Ostrander. I knew it was something he was passionate about, but it never really, it had some interesting things, but it never really pulled me in. So that whole era, to me is a big fail because I don't like Tim Levin's. It's just the way he writes. It's just because he did the same thing for this Firefly book I read, and it sucked too. But I also think it didn't feel like Firefly, and that's to me. And no, I'm going to let you speak after this, but Dawn of the Jedi, the novelization, did not feel like Star Wars for me. It felt like a man trying to struggling to figure out what Star Wars was about. It was on par with Vonda M. McIntyre, but I'll excuse Vonda M. McIntyre because she came from a Star Trek world, and when you think about it, Crystal Star plays just like if Star Wars was imagined through a Star Trek fan. The Crystal Star is exactly what it would be. It's a Star Trek episode. Like I said, I can't wait to reread it because after making fun of it for so many years, I'm actually going to end up liking this book. But I do have a better perspective because I did not know for the longest that she was a Star Trek author. But when someone had told me that years later, it made perfect sense. Everything did.
Well, that book is fantastic now if you compare it to whatever Disney's given us. So, the bar's been lowered, so that book is now mediocre.
You take Waru over the High Republic?
Yeah.
Over the Rock, over Geode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Over helicopter lightsabers?
Yeah. And inflatable pigs.
Works.
Yeah. And
Crystal Star is a masterpiece. I've always said this.
And Finn learning to pilot ships while in a coma. That happened in The Last Jedi. He couldn't pilot ships in episode 7 because that's why he saved Poe. He needed a pilot. And then in episode 8, after he's been in a coma, he can pilot ships.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'll plug this channel again. Yeah, he reviews both old and new.
Yeah.
Totally fine, and that's good. Yeah. That's fine. So does Meg. Meg reviews. She reviews both old and new. That's fine.
I do it in such a way where I compare and contrast the lores, like what they're bringing out versus what they had in the past. So mine might not be fully mine is all George Lucas era Star Wars, but I do a compare and contrast. Like I did a Thrawn one not too long ago, like a couple months ago, maybe. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's good. I lost my question.
I don't know.
Where was I going with this? Stig, what were you talking about?
I wasn't talking about anything. I'm eating a carrot.
Carrot. What's up, Doc? Oh wait, let's see this.
What's up, Doc?
What you got there, Noah? Junior Jedi Knights.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Self-made.
Self-made.
Oh, wow.
As you can see, it's a Quality Autism Discord limited edition.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, same format as my Han Solo Imperial Agent one.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
Yes. Look at that. Look at you go.
Show the Junior J Knights again.
All 6 covers.
Did you design that? How did you do that?
No, I already found a picture of it, and
Wow. That looks really good.
Yeah, that does. Very, very nice.
And those are
my
hard
birthday's
to find.
in May.
Uh-oh. Look at this.
Look at that.
Never show anything like that unless you're prepared to sell it.
Right.
I mean, I have 2 of them.
Oh.
As you can see, this is still in
You could just give it to the only female on the panel.
Oh, I don't know.
How dare you use your gender like that?
I'm going to use it when I need to.
I think for using my image without written consent, I should get it.
I'm the native here, so I'm the minority here, so I'm going to use that too.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
It's very good.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, those books, when those books came out, there was and Noah and I have talked about this. It's hard to determine. And Noah, next time I read through these, I'm going to pay closer attention. to figure out where those can fit into the timeline. Because I always imagine they fit within the Lost ones, but y'all told me Anakin was in the I say, Anakin's on Coruscant then? And sure enough, he was. I went back and looked it up, but I always imagine that's when it happened. So it had to have happened somewhere within that first series, somehow, some way. But,
Nice.
yeah, but that I remember reading that series, getting excited about it. Junior Jedi Knights, hot off the young Jedi Knights, and that they used a new cachet of stories, and that we almost got to see what's her name? Lyric in New Jedi Order. Walter John Williams wanted to use her as an adult, but somebody killed her off as a one-liner at the beginning of one of his chapters. It's actually Noah and my favorite author, Troy Denning, who did that.
Yeah.
But he wanted to use her, and I was, because when they said that Lyric was one of the victims of the Voxen, first victims, and so Jaina's no, it was Anakin who's sad because he knew her, and he and Tahiri knew her, and that was sad that she had died. But that was it. That was all it was a one-liner. I was like, oh no, Lyric. But then later on, Walter John Williams wanted to use her as like a powerful Jedi later on. They said, oh, you can't. Troy killed her in one line. It wasn't even epic.
One line.
Well, he did that because when I spoke to him, he's known as Dr. Death of the EU, right? He kills off a lot of characters, but he said for some of those characters, he got some heat on it. He did mention Lyric because first off, he didn't know Walter John wanted to use him. That book wasn't even thought out yet. Right. But at the same time, he wanted something because war hits close to home for everyone. And, when it's a big war like this, someone close to you is most likely going to die. So it was easy to pull a few names out there that would hit certain members of that Jedi team because they knew these people one way. And so he thought that Lyric was just she's only in that one book, and so he just thought that just made sense because Anakin is one of the main protagonists, obviously, of New Jedi Order, especially Star by Star. So something to have him hit home and understand the how vital this mission is to go after the Voxen Queen.
Yeah.
Which is the best novel in the EU, hands down. Noah and I have both talked about this several times.
I agree. And I think that is the biggest book that has the most pages is Star by Star.
Oh, it is. It's the large, and you know what? It could have gone double the amount of pages, right. And Noah and I still would have loved it.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Tahiri Vela then? So, what's your opinion about her then, Matt?
Time out. Do we all just want to take a look at Noah and how much he's wincing through this conversation?
All red. Look at that. It's almost as red as his chair on his couch behind him.
Lord. He hates Troy Denning.
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, that's why. I think Troy Denning is one of the brilliant authors in the lore. In this.
What did you think about his brilliant decision to turn Tahiri Vela into a pedophile?
And Star by Star is probably his least.
Whatever did I walk back into? Tahiri Vela is a pedophile?
Yes. Established.
Steve puts down his carrot and goes, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Someone said today's magic word.
He's gonna choke on that carrot. No.
I was fetching something to drink, and I came back, and I thought I heard Tahiri Vela as a pedophile. Like, what? I didn't see that.
Anyway, he's talking about her dark side past, trying to seduce Ben.
Oh yeah,
the famous scene. And then later on in Crucible, she's flirting with Lando, who is married and like 80 years old, which is also creepy.
she's you know, she has a lot of love to spare.
Whoa.
But only for kids and old people.
We're talking about only gets like wine. He only gets better with age. Lando Calrissian here. Okay, no one is safe from his charm. No one. Even
this is a fair point.
Even Mara Jade has to look at her ring whenever Lando's around to remind herself she's faithful to Luke, because Lando is. And
here's the question, though.
And I will say this, Noah, to let you know: would a younger woman be attracted to an older man? My wife has a list of 5 people she'll leave me for in Hollywood. 3 of them are well over 60. Okay. And like Kevin Costner right now, right as he is right now, she'll walk into the field of dreams.
She'll be dancing with them with wolves.
She would go dancing with wolves. Yes, she would.
Here's a question, though. Tahiri Vela seems to shag anything. Has she ever slept with a chicken like Wedge did?
It always goes back
to that one.
Always comes down to, and then
let's see. Yes, it is after midnight. Okay.
I want someone to commission some fan art of Winter and Akbar in a passionate kiss.
Winbar. Hashtag Winbar.
Say what?
Oh my god.
Well, that's anime, isn't it? A bunch of women getting tagged by fish and tentacles.
Well, that's the next thing. We're gonna have a Laura paint and then give away to her.
Yeah.
I'll paint Wedge and what's the lady's name? Like
Queezux.
Okay, Queezux. Yeah. I'll do a special copy print for him.
Hold on.
Remember to make
that's how I say her name. Is that how her name's pronounced, Noah?
Queezux?
Yes.
She really does suck.
No. Is that how you pronounce her name?
I think so.
We were asking her name, not what she does.
I'll tell you. There you go. That's right. Papa Wedge knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Imagine Luke walking in on Wedge and the chicken, and you go, pull out, Wedge. You can't do any more good back there.
Look at that. We have a winner.
Right.
You and I, buddy, are the only Callistia fans.
No. I liked her too.
Oh, you do like her?
She was very interesting. I liked the story. A lot of people didn't like the story. A lot of people didn't like that because of Mara. Really, because they were hooked on Mara. So Luke couldn't have any other relationships when it came to Mara.
Nope, fans were adamant about that. They tried it and it didn't work over with fans. But you know what? Right. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Next week,
Noah is even a bigger fan of Callista than I am.
Look, his face is still red.
If only we could have had a Callista book written by Troy Denning.
Didn't we Fate of the Jedi?
But spoilers. Yeah.
Next week, Wilkins, I'll have the whole Callista story in hardcover.
Nice.
So I have 4 EU books in hardcover on the way. 2 of them are the Callista books.
To be fair, I didn't like Planet of Twilight, but the first 2 were enjoyable.
Darksaber was awesome.
Oh, Darksaber's fantastic. It's probably Kevin J. Anderson's best. I mean, it's just written really well. It's great. She's suffering the same, and I like how Kevin J. Anderson borrowed some of the storyline that from Tales of the Jedi with Ulick Qel-Droma, and that Callista's basically experiencing the same thing. So he makes these big, huge ties to the comic book, of which he worked closely with Tom Beach, and then eventually took over when Tom Beach had to leave the company. Now, Kevin was still in touch with Tom and got pointers about where he envisioned the story going, and basically followed that through. I don't think I ever got to ask him why Redemption came about, because it came about like years later after the series had wrapped, and I was the one, Kevin J. Anderson comic book. I was like, no, don't do it. This is a terrible idea, and it was even better. A better ending than the original ending for Tales of the Jedi. I was like, how did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just bringing in that, connecting those stories from the comic books. And Kevin J. Anderson was the first one to do that. I mean, hate the Jedi Academy trilogy as much as you want, but there's a lot of firsts in there. First double-bladed lightsaber that George Lucas liked so much he put in episode 1.
Right.
It was Kevin J. Anderson who said, no, the comic books are going to be, because Timothy Zahn did not want the comic books involved in his storyline. He wanted them to go their own way. He shut the door on them, left them out in the cold. But Kevin J. Anderson goes, no, everyone's invited to come play in this sandbox. Come on, you guys can be part of our continuity. Don't worry, we'll figure this out. And he did. The very beginning of his book, he mentions the events of Dark Empire and fits them in. And to be honest, there's a lot of comic book fans who were happy to see that. And it brought comic book fans and crossed them over to read a book that respected their comic book that they had loved. And then vice versa. People like me who had not read the comic book was told, hey, before you read this, because I had already bought them all and I just hadn't read it. It's the first time I ever met Bruce for my podcast. He goes, well, before you read that, you may want to go read this Dark Empire. But I said, wait, those are connected to these books. He went, yeah. I was like, shut up. I just thought I thought it was so cool. But it was Kevin J. Anderson that did that. So I mean, there's just a lot. He was very instrumental. That's just in the beginning of the expanded universe. And then, of course, when Del Rey took over, they moved on. But either way, I really enjoyed him. And I mean, he's no Troy Denning, that's for sure. But you know, he's a fine character. He's a fine author. I swear, if we ever start hitting the road again for Comic Cons, no, I'm going to get you a copy signed. I'm thinking about now. I said it was going to be Star by Star, but I know which one you love better. You love that Darkness trilogy the best.
Oh, Darkness trilogy. That's a good one.
Yeah, maybe
Invincible.
You know what? You take okay. So many people are called Redskins. I think that you're taking that away from us now.
Isn't Dark Nest the trilogy about Wedge and the chicken having eggs?
Oh man!
Here it is. Right here. Look how thick this puppy is. Look at that hardcover.
Beauty.
Look at that.
Oh man, it's so nice.
Look at the author, man. He's amazing. He's such an amazing
Oh wait, I took her on. There he is.
It's a wonder Noah's still around.
Just joshing with you.
I'm telling you. Well, I picked on Noah enough. I'm gonna call it here, folks. I've been going for close to 3 hours. I've been having so much fun. See, this is what I'm talking about. I didn't even realize I've been going this long because I've been having so much fun. I'm gonna be dead in the morning when my girls wake up at 6, and I'm the one that gets up with them on the weekends.
So fun!
Yeah,
I know.
Love that.
I know. It's gonna be a lot of fun and a lot of energy drinks tomorrow. But that's why Noah needs to come live here so I can sleep while he takes care of the girls.
Oh man. What about Dylan? You wanted Dylan and his piss couch.
Dylan is not leaving his piss couch. And he says piss couches don't do good in high humidity. So,
I have to talk to Dylan when I do my stream later this day. So I can convince him you need to move in with Matt Wilkins.
You please tell him that.
Save me, move in with Matt.
Yeah.
Please tell him that.
That would be fun though, Matt checking the pH value of the couch and all he can find is pee.
Oh.
He just sleeps in it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been amazing. I can't believe it's late and I've had 20 to 30 people this whole time. But hey,
I mean, it's morning for me.
It's morning for you. I know he's ready. This guy's ready to get this guy right.
I've been hiking. I went hiking when the sun came up, so I came straight from a hiking trip when I joined.
Oh, so lucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's midnight here. It's midnight here. So.
I'm gonna hike to bed. It's 2 here, so I'm gonna hike to bed. But anyway, everyone, thanks for joining. Thank you everyone for coming in and chatting with me. This is always a lot of fun. And thanks for the chat there too, guys. See, this is the thing. This is something that just how long have I been doing these live streams and stuff? We do these a million times or whatever, and there's still so many things to talk about and so many things to enjoy. And that's what the expanded universe is all about, just enjoying things. And we may not like it all, you know, but that's okay. That just means people like Noah don't have any taste.